all the way to the first Saturday of football season on thebarnauburn.com.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President. Take TNR on the go with a podcast built for your satisfaction. Miss Hour 1? Find it in podcast form. Miss Hour 2? Stream it now. Miss Hour 3? Download it for later. Miss Hour 4? Well, just know it's never coming back. Listen to TNR wherever you find podcasts.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios. The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Live show on a Thursday now as we work our way to eventually heading down to the Landing tomorrow, down on Lake Martin to hang out with Herb Winches for his 10-year anniversary down there. So if you want to come see us, when can you come see us, LT?
We will be doing a live show We're not positive it's
Not
going to be a live
positive
show.
it's live.
But we will be out there doing a show from 3 to 5. Then they will have live music from 5 to 9. If you've never been to the Parker Creek Landing, he's got 2 locations now. This is the original, celebrating 10 years on the 14th. We're going to do it a little early on the 13th. But yeah, come on, join us, man. It's an awesome place. I know, Dunaway, you've been maybe once or twice, right?
To the Landing?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I've been
dozens?
12, 14 times.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, Herb doesn't talk like you've been there a lot. But
You need
I've
update
seen
Herb.
Herb 8 times there.
Okay.
Yeah. I haven't been in a long time,
Have you been,
though.
Brown?
I've never been.
Wow.
And I say
Maybe
that in
that's
great shame.
Maybe that's who he dogs out.
He dogs me out. No, Herb dogs me out to my favorite brownie. No, I'm looking forward to it. We'll be live there. It's probably not going to be live on our platforms, but we'll drop it on demand. An extended Mystery 5th Hour. That's going to be a Mystery 5th 2 hours or 5th and 6th hour. Whatever. It's going to be a 2-hour show.
Yeah.
All right. Looking forward to that coming up on Friday. Also, nextround.store, nextround.store. You can get gear like LT's hat in there. We start the day off with a Vulcan Tire and Automotive U.S. Open leaderboard as we're into round 1 of the U.S. Open, and then we'll get to all the college football stuff you guys care so much about. Vulcan Tire and Automotive.
Vulcan Tire and Automotive, before you get on the road, whether you're heading to the lake or the beach this weekend or anywhere this summer, make sure that car is properly tuned up, bumper to bumper. They're going to make sure your AC is ready for this hot weather. Maybe you're rolling on old tires. Roll into Vulcan Tire and Automotive. Mention the Next Round. They're going to give you the best tire pricing in all of Birmingham. Get in and see Richard, Chris, all of the fine folks there. For more information, VulcanTireandAuto.com.
Household name J.J. Spawn is your leader through 9 holes. He's played 9 holes. Actually, he's played 10 holes now. 4 under. On a course where people were talking about 1, 2, 3 over winning, Spawn is 4 under in day 1. He's playing very well. Former U.S. Open champion Gary Woodland at 3 under par through 7. Ludwig Oberg, Adam Scott, U.S. Open champion Wyndham Clark, U.S. Open champion Rory McIlroy, Siwoo Kim, and Nicholas Norgard, all at 2 under par. Rory is actually the surprise there because he had been playing so poorly coming into this event.
Some people play the majors the best. He got hot at the Masters, finally won that, completing the Grand Slam. I would tell you, Brown, the average winning U.S. Open score, not just at Oakmont, but the U.S. Open winning score is usually 4.8 under par compared to the Masters and the PGA Championship, which is usually 10.9 under par, and the Open Championship across the pond, 10.8 under par. So 4 under par is the leader. That's about where the winner usually is. So if he can just hold that 4 under the rest of the, what is he through, 9 holes? So if he can just hold on to that, what is that, 63 more holes?
Hey, I'm
that's all he's got to do.
Do you think Spawn right now, if they were like, you can card the -4 for the weekend, tap out?
Yes.
Oh, he'd take that right now, yeah.
He would sprint to the
One
clubhouse.
golfer said, give me a +4 for the round for the tournament, and I think I have a chance to win it.
You think somebody birdies 1 and 2, and they're going into 3? Hey, look, tap out. I don't need the car service the rest of the week. I don't need the snacks.
just play for the par the rest of the way. Just shoot. Try forget birdie. Just try to par the rest of them and see what happens.
I will say that frequently, and the majors and the U.S. Open is not immune to this either. Frequently in the majors, the lowest scores you will see are in round 1. So when a guy finishes 4 under. Often 4 under is the lowest the lead ever is, and it only goes up from there.
Yeah.
So,
but J.J. Spawn is another example of, I think, the best thing to be in the world, or one of the best things would be a golfer that makes a ton of money, but nobody knows who you are. Because I just saw J.J. Spawn.
You wouldn't recognize him anyway.
Never, ever.
Nope.
So I'll ask you this. J.J. Spawn at -4 right now. Let's see who can get closest to this.
Okay.
Where does J.J. Spawn finish the tournament? What's his score?
I will say that J.J. Spawn, he is a really good golfer.
Obviously.
Yeah. I did take a look at him for my 4 golfers.
Did you?
Wish I would have played him now.
Yeah.
I think he
You will
finishes.
not wish you played him by Sunday.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say I still think he finishes at +3.
I was going to say +4.
I was going to say +3 as well, so we're all in about the same place.
I say he does a complete.
So we got a lot of confidence in old JJ.
That's not a 360 because that would get him back to -4. He'll do a
180.
complete
Now, I'll
180.
say this:
He'll go from 4 under to 4 over.
the former Kansas Jayhawk, I think he is Gary Woodland.
That is correct.
I remember when he
Jayhawk.
won this tournament a few years ago. I continued to wait for this guy to fall apart, and he never did.
Who, Woodland?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
What makes this tournament so fun for the average golfer who watches it is the struggles. But you learn some things. Like I learned some things last night on the Golf Channel that I didn't know they made a 9 wood.
Yeah.
And there are several golfers who have a 9 wood in their bag this week to play it out of the rough.
Yeah. Did
you know they made a 9 wood?
I did. And you guys might remember this when I played Oxmoor Valley back in, it's probably 99, 2000. So 25 years ago, I found an old wood that I know Brown made fun of it. You might have seen it, but it literally had the screws. You remember what was the saying?
Persimmon.
Persimmon.
Yeah, hit it in the screws.
Hit it on the screws, yeah. But I had one of those, and I don't remember. It might have just been a 3 wood, but I did not know they made a 9 wood.
Yeah, I'd seen a 5 wood before, and I know there are hybrids.
7 woods. I got 7 woods.
I know some people my age they stop playing irons and they play with these lofty woods a lot, which I guess gives them distance. But tell me why the 9 wood is helping them out of the rough, why you would choose that instead of a 9 iron to get more roll?
It's the design of the head. To go a little golf geeky, they're able to kind of drop it right down on the ball, and it pops it out with a little overspin. Because it is coming out of the rough, it's not going to have backspin on it. It's going to, it is. But anyway, I don't want to go physics here, but it's going to pop it out with a lot of roll. And it's just the way the 9 wood cuts through the rough better than an iron does. It's got more mass in the head.
I did a 5 wood out of a trap the other day.
How'd that work for you?
Because it was
you hit the lip.
I was really close to the lip, so I got it out.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah,
out of a fairway bunker.
Yep.
Yeah.
It got out. Mine had topspin on it though for some reason, and all I did was jab it down at it like that. It was the only way I was going to be able to get it out.
That's another thing I will never understand is spin. How golfers, it's difficult enough just to hit the ball.
Yep.
Yeah.
But to put spin on it.
Truthfully, I was just trying to hit it hard enough off the front of the bunker to kick it back enough so I could play a normal shot, and it came out.
You were trying to hit the lip so it would jump back.
I was trying to hit the lip hard, so it would roll back away from it and pounced out. So worked out good. Another thing unique about this course today. Today it's playing at 289 yards, the par 3/8. Brown says they will play this eventually at a 300-yard par 3.
That's the speculation, and it's gotten a lot of criticism. A lot of people say that's silly.
That is silly.
And
keep in mind, I drive the ball. My good drives. Now, with a rollout, sometimes I can get it to 240, 250, but my good drives are about 220 right now. So I would be driver wedge on a par 3.
Yeah, but even these guys, professionals that can hit it, 300 plus, the accuracy of hitting a green from that, and what is the club of choice?
Dunaway told me, I did not see this, that in a practice round, Colin Morikawa hit a driver.
Yeah, the only named golfer to hit a driver.
Wow.
A lot of people are hitting hybrids and stuff. Now, he may have been preparing for the 300 yard.
He could have.
Been back a little.
So what do you think
300.
percentage on drives are going to be as far as that hole? If you have a 300-yard par 3, what are the percentages that land on green?
The greens and regulation?
Yeah,
I
greens
don't
and
know.
regulation that have an opportunity for a legit birdie.
I wouldn't know how to guess a percentage. I'm just going to throw a number out and say a legit
it's not
green
high,
and
right?
38%.
And what is it on a normal?
I would say that's what I don't know. I'd have to go look at what the normal would be.
But it's got to be 75 plus, right?
Not for one that long. I mean,
No,
because
I'm not talking about for that long.
Oh,
I'm
for
talking about a
normal
normal par 3.
I mean, if you talk about 170-yard par 3
Yeah.
on the PGA Tour, I mean, it's probably...
That is silly. I mean, the course is difficult enough.
Yeah. No, this course used to have a par 6 back in the day. In its history, it had a par 6.
I've never seen that in my life.
I've played a par 6 before.
Yeah, and our friends at Bentbrook, they have on number 2 on Windmill, they have sort of the piano key bunker, which I think is designed sort of like a huge one they have at Oakmont. So,
yeah, it's between 3 and 4 at Oakmont. It's called the Church Pews. If you watch it over the weekend,
that's what it is.
Yeah, you'll hear them reference the Church Pews bunker.
Yeah.
It's a unique design at that course that a lot of people have copied, but that's the first place that had it.
I'm always in it because it's right where I drive the ball. And
do you try to move your feet a little bit?
Well, no matter how I move it, I hit it in there every time because I can't hit it over it unless the wind's behind me, and I can't hit it short. So it goes in there every time, and it's just a roll of the dice on what kind of lie you've got because you have a lot of grass in between these sandy areas. So you could be standing with 1 foot hiked up on the church pew and one down in it,
or you could be right up against one.
You could be against
have
one.
To play out sideways.
It is. It's nasty, as this whole course is. That's what makes this such a fun, entertaining tournament. Always the U.S. Open because of the struggles, but the uniqueness at Oakmont. It's the 10th time it's hosted it. They love it, and they go back to an event in the 1960s at Oakmont that says that this was the dawning of modern day popularity in professional golf. That the U.S. Open at Oakmont, that tournament sort of bursted onto the scenes of being a very popular TV product.
Yeah, Jack Nicklaus is the one where Nicklaus beat Palmer. And if you don't know the history there, they were massive rivals, Nicklaus and Palmer was the most popular guy in golf.
And that's sort of his backyard?
Oh, it is his backyard.
Yeah.
He's from Latrobe, Pennsylvania, which is not terribly far from Pittsburgh.
Not known for Rolling Rock beer, right?
I think that's right. Yeah, Latrobe, yeah.
But I mean, this is blue collar, and this is an uppity place, though, Oakmont, right? Or maybe not so much.
Probably not as uppity as some places, but yeah, it's a prestigious club.
You can roll through the clubhouse with your hat on?
Ooh, I don't know if I do that now. I'd be careful there. But yeah, Palmer, this was going to be his home course U.S. Open, and everybody knew he was going to win. And this pudgy young kid that nobody liked, Jack Nicklaus, came out and beat him. And nobody liked him because he was beating Palmer.
Yeah.
Now, Nicklaus became insanely popular by the end of his career. But he started off on a bad foot because he beat Palmer in his own backyard. And, boy, people did not like that. So you had a good rivalry, which we frequently need in sports, and that was one that helped golf.
Would Palmer have had the same baggage that Tiger had if he would have played in the day of social media?
Potentially, yeah. A lot of those guys would. You need to read the story of Walter Hagen.
Oh, I've never heard this.
Go read Walter Hagen's story. He's the guy that if social media was around, Walter Hagen was he was a player.
Reminds me of shirts that grandfathers used to wear. I don't know if the Walter Hagen shirts are still very good.
That's what's crazy is they've got a line of, like you said, a line of Walter Hagen shirts.
Yeah.
And this guy back in the day was known for
taking shirts off.
Yeah, for skinning it off.
Skinning it off. He's got a woman in every port. He would show up, they said many times he'd come straight from the bar to his tea time.
Yeah.
Reeked of alcohol.
Did he win any majors?
Oh, yeah. Walter Hagen was a really good player.
So nothing on Tiger Woods. We made a big deal out of Tiger Woods compared to...
Oh, those old guys back in the day.
Choir boy.
Yeah. Pretty cool. Okay, U.S. Open, that's the leaderboard. We'll update you throughout the show several times. Show today being brought to you by a couple of our great sponsors. One of them, Brownie, is our friends at Bojangles.
That's right, Jimmy D. It can be bow time there for you at Bojangles. Everybody loves good dipping sauce, do they not? Well, from sweet to heat, Bojangles has you covered. And you know what goes great with those dipping sauces? The hand-breaded tenders you get at Bojangles. If you're looking for sweet, try honey mustard or add some tang with barbecue. If you're looking for some heat, try creamy buffalo or peach honey pepper. If you're craving smooth and creamy, the house-made ranch, jalapeno ranch, or classic bow sauce ready and waiting. So head to Bojangles, order some hand-breaded tenders with your favorite sauce today. It's bow time.
And our friends at Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. Man, if you're going to get out and walk Oakmont and play 72 massive beastly holes on that rough, you'll want to be in great shape. It starts with our friends at Way to Wellness. The website is aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. It's a great website name because every plan is different with Leslie and her board-certified team. No two plans are alike. your free evaluation that you get with no out-of-pocket money, it's free. With Leslie, you can come up with a plan uniquely for you, whether it's injection therapy, meal replacement, protein bars, other types of supplements. You can make it happen at Way to Wellness. Find more details at the website at planforme.com. There's no contracts, no sign-up fees, and the first consultation's free. Way to Wellness, planforme.com. All right, college football kick times. This can be frustrating because there are so many flex times. Everybody sort of wants all the times. Doesn't really bother me that much, but I'm always I said this last night on our TikTok, the flex times always interest me the most because I don't know what time they're going to be. But let me help you out a little bit before we talk about the SEC release on these flex times and the other kick times that are out there. Flex times can only be 2 times. It can be the 2:30 window, or it can be the night window. Flex times cannot be morning windows. So if you get a flex time, you know you're not at 11.
That's right.
You know you're either 2:30 to 3:30 Central, or you're 5 to 7 Central in the early evening hours, or the traditional kick. We know Alabama, LSU in Tuscaloosa, LSU Alabama in Tuscaloosa will be a night game. This you could almost pencil in for being Fowler and Herb Street on ABC at 6:30. But we know the Alabama kick time for Alabama LSU will be there. Here is the television schedule for the Crimson Tide. We already knew all the way through the Georgia game, the first 4 weeks there. Flex for Vandy. So we know that will be either the 2:30 mid-afternoon window, or we call it the afternoon window, or the evening window. We know it's 11 a.m. right out of game day on ESPN or ABC for Alabama at Missouri. So instantly, I think they're telling us they don't think Missouri is going to be as good as in the years past.
Yep.
So we're going to put that at 11. Tennessee's a flex game, so it could be afternoon or night game.
I think that shows you they don't know how good Tennessee's
That's
going
right,
to be.
but they may want that one in prime time.
Flex on the road at South Carolina.
Same.
Night game for LSU. Flex for Oklahoma, 1 o'clock with Eastern Illinois, and then flex for Auburn. Now, I get excited when I see flex for Auburn because traditionally 2:30, and I love the 2:30 kick at Jordan-Hare Stadium. Because, and not that it's the Rose Bowl. I don't want to step on Joel Klatt's ego at all here. But if you're on the visitor sideline, where I usually stand during the Iron Bowls on the Alabama sideline, I'm usually over in that corner over there. And in that second half, that halftime second half of that 2:30 kick, you get a really beautiful view with the sky orange and blue and the sun setting and that afternoon turning into nighttime at Jordan-Hare Stadium. That's a good kick time when it's at Auburn. Prime time, though, would be a fun Iron Bowl.
Yeah, there hasn't been a ton of prime times. I don't know. What do you guys say, 20% of the time we've had prime time games, maybe?
I think, Lance, and I am happy to be corrected in the chat room if I am incorrect on this, I think the last primetime Iron Bowl at Jordan-Hare Stadium was 1999.
At Jordan-Hare?
At Jordan-Hare, because you had 2014 at Bryant-Denny was a primetime.
Was that the 55-44 game?
No, you're wrong.
Give me another one.
So Cornell, was it first play from scrimmage?
Yeah, that was a day game.
No,
that was a night.
It was a night game.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember watching.
Go crazy, Cadillac.
I remember watching.
Crazy.
That was the Eli Manning Ole Miss loss to LSU. Was the 2:30.
Yeah, that had implications on the.
So I think that was 2003, 2004, something like that.
Go crazy, Cadillac. Go crazy.
Yeah.
2003 Iron Bowl. I'm going to watch it right here. I'm going to watch the whole game. Y'all talk.
Okay. So the other flex opportunities on that day, Florida State, Florida. I think by that time, Florida State's out of the mix. I don't know where you think that game will be. And then LSU, Oklahoma, a game that we referenced yesterday, could be a sneaky playoff implication game.
Yeah. But you could have Florida State at 11, 2:30 with the LSU game, prime time. But most likely Alabama, Auburn. It depends on where Fowler and Herb Street want to be.
Yeah.
I think they have a big influence on
what
they decide.
Do you think either one of those games, both teams will be in the mix for a college football playoff berth? Alabama, Auburn, LSU, Oklahoma. Either one of those
I think
games.
all four are still in the mix on that Saturday.
Wow, that would be pretty incredible.
Yep, I do.
Because I do think Oklahoma and Auburn live up to at least the hype we've given them a little bit. I mean, LSU and Alabama are going to be there.
When you said night game Jordan-Hare for the Iron Bowl, the first game that popped to mind was we didn't have instant replay back then, but I forget the receiver for
Brown?
Alabama.
Curtis Brown.
Yeah, was he in? Was he
That
out?
was 95. I was at that game. Fantastic.
That was
football
before
game.
Photoshop, too. Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't even have believed it
Yeah.
if it was in the day of Photoshop.
Yeah.
But you continue to see that with foot down. With,
I know.
Yeah, I think there were some Photoshops back then. I think some of those were
don't know.
Photoshopped.
Blur it or something
Yeah.
like that. But that was a fantastic football game. That was one of the best Iron Bowls I've ever been to.
And I would love to have seen a good replay. I don't even know if we had a good replay on that one. But as a guy who goes back, and I did it again last night, I moved to I watched the 1980 college football season on ABC last night. And watching some old games, there's some first of all, the camera angles and stuff just were not what we have today, and you couldn't really tell. But there were some bang, big calls in some big games that you'd sit there and go, boy, why are they not going to replay that? Oh, it's 1980. That's why, Jim. And even in the 90s, we didn't have the instant replay.
A lot of people are like, hey, no, the kick six was prime time. Nope, 2:30.
No,
it just gets dark
2:30.
early in November.
Gets dark. Second half gets
and
dark.
as Brooks points out, and that's when college football games took 5 hours. So the kick six played into the night because
did,
those
yeah.
games take forever
That
back
game
in the day.
ended, I want to say, about 7 o'clock.
It's what it felt like,
Yeah, about 7 o'clock Central Time.
Yeah, was it the Bruce Arians call? That was definitely a night game.
Yeah, that was 1997.
That was a night game.
Iron Bowl used to be a night game
Yeah,
a lot
I
because
remember the
both
last-
teams weren't good at the same time.
That's right.
The last-
ESPN.
Yeah.
Iron Bowl I went to in Legion Field was when Bill Oliver was the interim coach. That was a night game.
1998.
Yeah.
Bill Oliver was interim
But
coach.
Gus Malzahn and Saban, 55-44 in Bryant-Denny was a night
that
game.
was a night game.
2014. Yeah, that was a night game.
It
See,
took
that-
forever, 55-44.
Yeah, I kind of want a night game this year.
Well, I mean, we could get it because of some of the other games you've mentioned. Now,
See, I 2:30 Jordan here. That's the
That's
premium.
what you want?
That's the kick time for me. And you can't tell me. I mean, I know you guys are like night games are more intense. They are. Night game takes it to a different level when Brown is ranking his poorly ranked home field advantage list that Taylor makes him do. But 2:30 when it goes into night, that's a great setting that time of year.
but I have very rarely been to an Iron Bowl that wasn't a great atmosphere. I don't care what time they kicked it. It was a great atmosphere. And generally, if it's not, it's because one team sucked.
Yep.
So if both teams are any good, it's going to be a good atmosphere at 2:30 or night. It really doesn't matter.
Flip the schedule to the Auburn games now. We get their releases. We knew all the way through South Alabama on their kick times. They get flex for Oklahoma. Again, flex is always afternoon or evening. Texas A&M will be an afternoon slot, so that could be on ABC, ESPN, SEC Network. Night game for Georgia. That's at Jordan Hare, so we know that'll be at night, somewhere between 5 and 7. Most likely, if Auburn's having the year that some think, we know what Georgia's going to be. That's a good chance that's a Herb Street Fowler game on ABC. Flex game for Missouri. Early game for Arkansas. So that means it's the 11:45. There's potential for that being an SEC Network game.
That game seems like it's 11 o'clock every
It really
year.
does. I feel like they play that game straight out of game day a lot.
Flex on Kentucky. Afternoon for Vandy. 1 o'clock for Mercer. And then the flex there for Alabama.
Well, my takeaway there is you do know windows, but you only know one SEC kick time for Jordan Hare, and that's Georgia. And you really don't know the time. You just know for a fact it's going to be a night game.
I like that, too, because it seems like the majority of those have been 2:30.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Yep.
Yeah.
By the way, the 2:30 is
I think the last time Auburn won in Sanford Stadium, it was a night game.
Red River Shootout 2:30 that day already locked in.
Already locked in at 2:30.
Yeah. Well, that's a good doubleheader. So you'll go from Red River Shootout to Deep South Florida's rivalry?
Yeah, but we might get either Florida A&M, South Carolina LSU head-to-head with Oklahoma, Texas, right? Both of those are flex.
That's a good
That's
weekend of
Saturday,
football
yeah.
right
Well,
there.
you kick some of those to the night if it's flex. Who are the other options?
Yeah, well, you've got I get that. So right now in Stone, Alabama, Missouri, noon. Then 2:30, Oklahoma, Texas, night, Georgia, Auburn. The 3 flex are South Carolina at LSU, Arkansas at Tennessee, and Florida at A&M.
Well, that is a fantastic day of SEC football right there.
Okay. I like to always think of where our buddy Tom Hart and his crew will be.
Well, they get a good game probably.
Yeah, Arkansas, Tennessee, probably.
I mean, that's a really good game for them.
And the one other game that I didn't mention on the SEC slate that day, 12:45, Washington State in Oxford to take on Ole Miss. I didn't even realize Ole Miss was playing Washington State.
11:45. That's SEC Network.
Yeah,
It is,
yeah.
Yeah. So, I could see South Carolina LSU being primetime either ESPN or ABC game.
I mean, really, the only team that we mentioned that I guess we deem doesn't have a shot to be in the mix would be Arkansas at Tennessee.
We do know one other big rivalry game's kick time, and you can throw out any more LT there that you've got the full SEC list on, but we do know Clemson at South Carolina could have playoff implications on it. 11 a.m. Central, 12 noon at William Bryce Stadium. So that's potential out of game day or on ABC there for that one and that rivalry game. Any others pop for you guys on those kick times?
Well, somebody told us to look at Florida. He said, I read they had all-night games. That's not entirely true, but one thing they don't have
no 11s.
is a home 11 o'clock kick, that's
good.
That's good for the fans, good for the visiting team.
Miserable.
Yeah, so they've got their home schedule in the conference is Texas, which is either going to be the 2:30 or their night game.
So it's
These
flex.
are all flex, yeah. Mississippi State they have in the afternoon window.
Yep, so they're going to melt.
Yeah, but at least it's not, you'll get some sunset there, and it's October 18th. Tennessee is a home game for them. That's a flex. And then Florida State's home game for them, which is a flex. So they don't have any early kicks.
Back to Tennessee,
early kicks. That's good.
It's interesting because that's that terrible weekend where, Auburn's got Mercer, Alabama's got Eastern Illinois. So right now, the night game is Western Kentucky at LSU, and your flex, you've only got two flexes, Arkansas at Texas and Tennessee at Florida. You guys remember when we had some of those great 90s battles?
Oh, yeah.
There were a lot of night games, Tennessee, Florida.
Oh, yeah. It was the CBS. CBS had that one night game every year.
And it seems like that's 2:30 every year
and
now.
before they used it on Alabama LSU all the time, they were using it on Tennessee, Florida because it was the East Division championship game and ultimately the SEC championship game a lot of times.
Yeah, that was PS, pre-Saban, before Alabama LSU became a mainstay in prime time.
It was also DS during Spurrier, so it had some meaning to it at the time.
It was also FF, Fat Phil. Oh, wait, that's an FP. All right, one more thing to get to in this opening segment after we tell you about a couple of our great sponsors. One of them is our friend Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing. Greg from Pell City willing to help you get that roof, that home looking perfect, but also protecting that home. That's what a roof does. It protects not only you inside, but the entire property. It's got to be maintained. It's got to be buttoned up, and that's what Greg from Pell City can help you do with a free, absolutely free, no-cost roof inspection, no obligation. Call him up. This is his cell number, 205-542-3531, 542-3531. Listen, there is storm damage with these windstorms, pop-up thunderstorms all the time. They're just going to happen here in the South all spring, all summer long. If one happens to you and you've got some damage, have this number on standby. I say it every day on the show at some point, so you can always go back and look at any of our 972 shows, and at some point during the show, you'll see this graphic pop up. But you can DM me, too, and I'll give you the number, 205-542-3531, or Greg from Pell City on Facebook. You can call him, you can talk to him, you can text him, you can leave him a message, you can DM him on Facebook, whatever you need to do for that free no-cost roof inspection. Storm damage, he handles that. Full roof replacements when they age out. He does it all. It's locally owned for over 20 years. It's Storm Restoration Roofing. Also, our friends at Hemphill, they bring you Lance's Lock, lanceslock.com. And last night, you have the Pacers.
We were 2-0 in Major League Baseball, but we did have OKC minus the 5.5. Terrible second and fourth quarters, and got to give that Pacers squad a lot of credit, man. Rick Carlisle has them prepared. They haven't lost back-to-back games in 3 months. But on the other side, Oklahoma City never loses back-to-back games, so I assume Game 4 will be an Oklahoma City win. They're still a massive favorite in this series, minus 250, down 2-1.
More on that series in a second, but lanceslock.com for plays today, some good baseball.
Always brought to you by our friends at Hemphill Services. Trust the name, Birmingham's trust since 1954. For all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling issues, call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there, 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
So last night, it was going back to Hallie. Halliburton didn't play great in the first game or second game, but last night he almost had a triple-double, Brown. The guy was dropping dimes, getting assists, and scoring some points.
It's such a baffling team. Like, you look at them, and they truly are, and I don't want to diminish their roster. It's obviously a good roster, but the Pacers seem to be one of those rare teams where the sum is greater than their parts. I mean, is that a fair thing to say about them as a casual? I'm not even a casual NBA fan. I'm a NBA postseason fan.
The Thunder, I know they have the MVP. They're sort of built the same way. You have a bunch of really good parts.
But you just said they've got the MVP as well. SGA is a different player.
The best overall team, you know what this Pacers team is reminding me of a little bit, is what we saw with Kawhi Leonard when Toronto made that unbelievable run.
The Raptors, when they came out of nowhere.
Detroit won a championship against the Lakers, back in the early 2000s, and that was like 5 guys that were really good. There were no superstars when you looked at Rip Hamilton and Rasheed Wallace and Ben Wallace.
The kid from Kentucky, what was his name, Green or something, was on that team?
No, it was
Tayshaun Prince.
Tayshaun Prince.
Yeah, Tayshaun Prince.
So a bunch of really good players. Indiana does have a budding superstar in 25-year-old Halliburton, but outside of that, Miles Turner is really good. Siakam is really good. Their bench was fantastic, outscoring the Thunder 43-18 last night. But it's just a resilient team, and they just don't go away.
I think why it pops for you that way, Brown, is not really offensively. It's defensively. OKC, in the last 5 minutes and 57 seconds last night, only had 1 made field goal from the field.
And melted down at the line. That's not defense, obviously, but, I mean –
But you only scored 1 field goal in an NBA game in the last basically 6 minutes of the game. It's great defense, 19 turnovers. Yeah. And to me, that makes it look like more of a team effort when the defense is smothered.
I just know they're an extremely tough out, and everybody should be this time of year, but boy, the Pacers seem like they take it to a next level. They don't melt. You can throw everything you want at them. That team does not melt, man.
Yeah, and back to defense. Oklahoma City's got the much better defense in this series, but last night, Indiana and Rick Carlisle – we talked about they were going to do everything they could to limit SGA, who was averaging 32 in the first 2 games. He struggled, 9 of 20, had 6 turnovers. You look at Chet Holmgren, he was really bad last night, 6 of 15 from the floor. It was just a really, really good defensive effort.
All right, so when we come back, we'll get back into college football. We've got reaction to the basketball ACC SEC challenge. You had one other point you wanted to make on the kick times?
No, just real quick on the Lance's like. I was just going to quickly ask Lance about his, because it's one thing I like that he does during the majors, the head-to-heads. Do you have any of those up today?
I will be doing, not today.
This weekend?
I will do match plays tomorrow.
Okay,
So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we will have those up and available. Yeah.
Okay, so a lot to get to, still to come on the show. That's being brought to you under that new hat you can get at nextround.store. Dr. B has Lance's hair growing so much he has to cover it up sometimes.
Dr. B, best in the business. Yeah, I used to never wear hats at all. A lot of people probably think, well, he's losing his hair, that's why he wears the hats. I wear the hats because I like to fly the flag, and we've got a lot of great merch. But outside of that, do like to show the hair off that Dr. B has helped me grow back. Again, if you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, you might start thinning out. If you do, be preemptive. You want to maintain. You want to grow some back. 205-319-0316. For more than 20 years, women and men have turned to Dr. Beckenstein for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. He will use that experience, his advanced training, and genetic testing to help his patients fully understand the procedures they are considering. Call Dr. B and that great staff today, 205-319-0316. Tell them the next round sent you. T3's got that new test. So easy, painless, affordable. Takes 4 seconds to perform. It will show which medicines and compounds will specifically work for your hair loss. Stop wasting your money and critical time while you're losing hair on treatments that aren't working for you. Go see Dr. B and that great staff. Find out what will work for you. T3hair.net for more information.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter at ScottForresterTV.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new Chicken and Bowberry Waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a Bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try Chicken and Bowberry Waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Hang out with the Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world. we can keep you company. Check out The Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on The Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at The Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com. The latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com. That's nextroundlive.com. Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Back with you on the Next Round as we continue on the show, brought to you by our friends at Twin Peaks. We're about to look at some college football wide receiver rooms. Who's up there with Alabama and Auburn as the best wide receiving rooms in the country? We know Ohio State's going to be in there. A couple that may surprise you that will maybe make an impact on this national championship race. And later on, after Connor O'Gara, LT and Brownie, I'm going to ask you guys to give me your top 5 list on the dry erase board of potential programs that will be the next dynasty in college football.
Okay.
And
Not many of them.
They could already have been a dynasty in the past.
Right. This is second or third time around, maybe.
It could be the next dynasty. That's coming up later on. The show brought to you by Twin Peaks.
You know, I was looking at our kegerator in here from our friends at Bud Light, and yesterday it was 36 degrees. It's not showing a temperature right now. 36 is a cold beer. But 29-degree drafts, that's what you get at Twin Peaks. No one does happy hour like Twin Peaks, whatever your preference. They've got everything from tequila cocktails, extensive bourbon category, top shelf spirits, cocktails served over the ice balls, local craft beers, handcrafted whiskey cocktails, round out an adventurous drink menu, second to none. Don't forget about the 29-degree drafts. Game 4, Stanley Cup Finals, great place to watch it with some of that incredible food. The Twin Peaks girls running around. Twin Peaks, get in to one of those great locations today.
Hey, our guy Alexander Shunnarah Attorneys, and they never charge you a dime unless they win your case. Shunnarah.com, Shunnarah.com. is where you start when you're in need of an attorney. Alexander Shunnarah has been doing it in Birmingham for a very long time. It's his hometown. It's where he wanted to help people, and he's done that, man. How about $2 billion, over $2 billion that the elite trial lawyers at Alexander Shunnarah have collected for their clients? And it was a simple mission. I say simple. I mean, he did it. It really wasn't simple. Handle every issue your community face. So as an attorney now, they handle not just personal injury claims, but claims for fire and storm damage, bad drug and device claims, disability, workers' compensation, and a host of other claims. Alexander probably would have said, Brown, you say it's simple. That may be simple for you, but
You do it, Brown.
That was a lot of work for me. Shunnarah.com, Shunnarah.com.
Okay, so CBS Sports will back us before we get to the 40 and 40 team today at 19. Ranked out the wide receivers rooms, the best group out there. Nobody's surprised at Ohio State at number 1 in his ranking with Jeremiah Smith. But don't forget that Carnell Tate is there as well. Backus has Clemson 2, Alabama, Auburn, and LSU. Are you guys surprised to see Clemson slide in there at number 2 in that ranking?
Yes.
Well, I think this might be an example of quarterback making receivers a little bit better. I mean, look, gone are the days of DeAndre Hopkins and what was Sammy's name? Sammy Watkins.
Yeah.
I mean, we just hadn't seen receivers like that in a long time at Clemson.
Clemson is working on its way back to being called wide receiver U, or at least in the conversation. They've got 5'11" Antonio Williams coming back.
He was
target, yes.
10th in the ACC in receiving last year. Yeah. So, I mean, this was a guy that was barely top 10 in the ACC.
Yeah, didn't even crack 1,000 yards. And I say that, lightly. Obviously, 1,000-yard season is a really good season. When's the last time an Auburn Tiger had 1,000 yards?
It's been 1999, I think.
It's kind of the run that Clemson's been on since playing for championships. But Antonio Williams was good with 904 yards last year.
Wesco and Moore, who had freshman seasons last year, they're supposed to break out in a good recruiting class there. Of freshmen at Clemson. They've done a great job. Alabama 3rd in that list, as you see. Auburn 4th. We've talked about their wide receiver rooms a lot. LSU, known for its wide receivers, 5th. Others of note, though, is where I found some interest. Oregon was there. Evan Stewart's injury takes a lot out of their steam. Texas is there, but surprisingly they're in the others mentioned, not in the top 5. They have a lot of good recruits, though. So keep an eye on that Texas room. Ole Miss is there. They've got a lot of new faces, really good wide receivers, usually under Lane Kiffin. But 2 programs I never think of wide receivers are in the others mentioned there.
Iowa.
Georgia is there.
Right.
Trying to get it right. They got
Zach
Branch from USC.
Zachariah Branch. I mean, that's everybody's got this huge expectation for him.
He was so good early as a freshman.
And he was, but you look at the quarterback situation now with Gunnar Stockton, and when is the last time you've seen a dominant wide receiver with Kirby Smart?
That's my point. That's why it surprises me that they're being mentioned as a great wide receiver room. Noah Thomas, Colby Young, and a great tight end, Oscar Delp. The other one that's there, and I don't think we ever think about great wide receivers, especially for a room with this program. This shows you how they have changed athletically. I mentioned them yesterday. The best running back room, second best, with Love at running back, is Notre Dame. Is mentioned as having one of the better wide receiver rooms in college football.
Well, when you spend $40 million on a roster, and again, according to SI, one of 6 programs that is doing it, this is where you can go out and get really good wide receivers, good skill. But, how good is the quarterback position going to be at Notre Dame this year?
See, that's the thing. When you go back and look at this, like Ohio State's number 1, we assume they're going to have a good quarterback throwing to them. I mean, because he's an Ohio State quarterback is why we make that assumption.
Yeah,
I don't,
You guys correct me if I'm wrong. Julian's saying, if you're Ryan Day, hey, look, we spent $30 million, but guess what? It paid off. Will Howard ended up being a really, really good quarterback down the stretch. If he's sitting there in the spring and saying ain't getting it done, don't you think he goes and says, hey, we need to find whoever and pay them whatever to come in here?
Yeah.
He's got to feel comfortable with his quarterback situation.
Clemson, I think we all feel like, to varying degrees, I think Lance probably is higher on Klubnik than you and me, Dunaway, but I'm pretty high on Klubnik.
Well, I think the reason why you just threw out that their wide receiver was 10th in the league last year, which you said was not very impressive, and I agree with you, 10th in the ACC, is because I don't think Klubnik was the quarterback that he ended up being early in the season. I've seen a lot of bad Klubnik. I finally saw him play really good last year, great at the end of the year. We'll see what he is this year.
By the way, I think Cole Turner could end up being a factor in that receiver room too.
Alabama, we've not seen much of Ty Simpson at all in significant opportunities, but people in Tuscaloosa are very high on him. We'll see. Auburn.
Alabama for sure has 2 NFL wide receivers.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm talking in terms of people getting on the ball.
Yeah.
Auburn, we've seen Jackson Arnold, and it was not good, but Auburn is high on Jackson Arnold. You don't go pay him that kind of money if you're not. LSU, I think we know what we're getting Nussmeier. Some of the others receiving votes, you mentioned Texas. We assume Arch Manning's going to be good. Don't know.
Yeah, but I do want to go back to Texas, and this is one of the reasons that it amazes me, including you, Brown, that people that have Texas winning this national championship, because you've got an unproven quarterback. I know he's got a name, but you lose Matthew Golden, you lose Isaiah Bond, and you lose Gunnar Helm. Your top 3 wide receivers. Ryan Wingo's going to be good, but I just don't know how good the other receivers are going to be. We assume they're going to be good.
Yeah, well, they're highly recruited, DeAndre Moore and Khalil Lockett. So that gives them potential. I mean, wide receivers can make an impact in year one.
Oh, sure.
When they're
Ryan
their
Williams
first year
did,
starting.
yeah.
I mean, they can make a big impact. You just expect good recruits end up being good college players. CBSSports.com to read all the details about those wide receiver room. Champions Boxing brings us our 40-40 team today. I think it's a little overrated. We'll find out what you think. Tell us about Champions Boxing, LT.
Yeah, Champions Boxing, a great place to get a different type of workout. If you're sick of just going to the gym and throwing up the weights or getting on the treadmill, go see our friends Akash, Jake, Mailman, 8 USA boxing certified coaches, not only in boxing but strength and conditioning. If you think that like maybe intimidating going in, that you're going to be getting in the ring boxing, that's not necessarily it. A lot of conditioning, a lot of footwork. I'll tell you this, when we were in there on Monday, Jake looked at Jack and he was like, man, I don't know how much weight you've lost, but your body has already changed shapes. Like if you really want to get into an incredible shape, some of the best shape of your life, Champions Boxing could be for you. Coaches have experience in amateur, professional, Olympic levels. Anyone looking for a workout, again, different from just throwing up the barbell, come check them out. Any former athletes looking for another sport to compete in after high school or college, this could be for you. Team, family-oriented that helps in teaching discipline and fundamentals, located in Pelham, right behind the Purple Onion. You can go to Instagram for more information at Champions Boxing AL, Facebook at Champions Boxing AL, and make sure you tell them the guys from the next round sent you.
That gets us to number 19. Coming off a program best 11-win season, Iowa State slides in at 19. 10 of you that voted in our poll did not have them ranked. The highest came in at number 11. Iowa State, can the Clones back it up again, guys?
Look, I think two things here. Matt Campbell, really, really good coach. I think a lot of people believe maybe he had lost his fastball already with that dirty hat.
Understandable. You know, his last 3 years before last year were 7-6, 4-8, 7-6, and he has normal Iowa State years. Those aren't bad numbers, but he had baited us into thinking he was a little better than that.
Yeah, but I still think 7-6 in Ames is pretty incredible.
It is,
yeah.
But we expected more out of Matt Campbell. That's a testament to him.
Yeah, we have seen one bad year out of Matt Campbell because I throw away year one, but the 4-8 in 2022 was really weird. They were a half away, beating Arizona, getting to a college football playoff. Rocco Beck is one of the best quarterbacks in college football. Not necessarily going to translate to the NFL, just a gritty guy that gets it done, knows how to move the chains.
Replacing 3 starters on the offensive line.
Yeah, replacing 3 starters. You had Jalen Noel and Jaden Higgins, both gone to the NFL, both Houston Texans now.
Replacing your 2 best receivers.
But the portal work they did and went out and got a guy in Von Troy Malone out of Tulsa. You know, they've had problems on the edge. Only 16 sacks last year. They had 6 games where they didn't register 1 sack. For them to win 11 games and to go 6 games with 0 sacks, that's almost impossible to do.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tricky for them to get out of September better than 2-2. They can do it, but it is tricky.
They got to get out of August first.
Well, that's true. Yeah,
They play
do have
Kansas
2
State in Dublin week 0.
2 games in August. So, yeah, let me back that up. Out of the first 4 games, not out of September, but out of the first 4 games. They play the Dublin game week 0. How many days away from that, Dunaway?
We are
right now?
72 days away from Iowa State, 19th in our ranking, playing Kansas State, who I don't think we've hit yet either. I don't know if they're still to come or not.
Yeah, they're still to come.
Should be, yeah. Kansas State and Iowa State, that's a really good week 0 game over in Dublin. You come home, you hope you don't have the travel, lags or whatever, and that South Dakota upsets you. I don't think that'll happen. But then you get Iowa right after that, which is a tough game for them. So those first 4 games, if they get out of it 3-1, they've probably done well. If they get out of it 4-0, that's an interesting team to watch.
Yeah, I think if they get out of it 4-0, I think people start talking about the Cyclones a little bit. And Kansas State's a 3.5-point favorite right now. They're going to be favored in the Cyhawk over Iowa. They'll probably be a field goal favorite. So they could get out of there 4-0, and then they're going to be favored against Arizona. I think they're only favored in 7 or 8 games. They did lose a lot. I've just got a lot of confidence in Rocco Beck. Again, it's the loaded Big 12. They'll cannibalize each other. I probably had this team a little too high.
Where'd you put them?
13.
13?
Yeah. I think they're a top 20 team talent-wise.
Yeah, I went. I was one of the 10 not ranked. I think Iowa State 7.5 is the win total. I think that's right where they are. I think they're a 7-8 win team.
Yeah, I could see 8 and back into the top 25.
Yeah, 7. I don't know if 8 in the Big 12 gets you the back end of the top 25. That, by the way, they don't play Texas Tech. And if Utah is still a name brand for you, they don't play Utah, so they avoid them in the Big 12 schedule there.
They do have a challenging stretch, though, there at the end of October when they play BYU, Arizona State, and at TCU. That's
and then Kansas and at Oklahoma State.
That's a pretty challenging finish for them.
You know, we talked about who was the team that doesn't have was it Tennessee that doesn't really have difficult back-to-back games? Yeah, and you start to look at Iowa State, you've got 3 and 4 in a row.
That's Iowa State sliding in at number 19 in the poll voted on by you guys and us up here on the panel. We appreciate you voting every year. We count down one team every day until SEC Media Days. That means we're just 18 shows starting tomorrow away from us being in Atlanta for SEC Media Days. Time for Tyler's viewing menu today, brought to you by Michelson Laser Vision. Connor O'Gara coming up at the top of the hour. But first, entertainment talk here with Tyler and LT.
205-969-8100. That is the number you need to call. The number that I called back in 2003. Had the 2200 vision, was legally blind without the aid of contacts. Now 2015 vision, better than 2020. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business. Ask for Amy. She's going to hook you up with that hassle-free consultation. 0 to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. 205-969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com.
Got a couple new releases in theaters tonight. We got How to Train Your Dragon, and this is the live-action remake of the DreamWorks animated movie. And
where'd they find a dragon?
What's that?
Where'd they find a dragon for the live action?
That's a good question.
Westeros.
I think they had to make it up.
Okay, all right.
But it's basically about Vikings and dragons, and a kid is wandering around, finds a little dragon named Toothless, and they become friends, and he trains it and learns how to ride it, and the Vikings learn how to be friends with dragons by the end of the movie.
It won box office this last weekend, I think. It was the box office.
It wasn't out last weekend.
Yeah.
You're thinking of Lilo and Stitch,
Lilo
I think.
and Stitch has been crushing.
That's been killing it.
I thought it was the dinosaur movie. Maybe it was it in Europe last week?
There's a dinosaur movie next month.
Yeah, I saw something yesterday, $75 million in the box office the opening weekend. Maybe it was a projection of what it would make. I don't know.
That might be it.
$75 million doesn't sound like a lot in the movie world on an opening weekend.
For 2025, that's a
pretty good.
It just depends on what the budget is.
Yeah, exactly. It depends on what the budget is, because you've got a movie like Lilo and Stitch, which was made for $100 million and was originally supposed to go to Disney Plus. That did really well opening weekend, so it pretty much immediately became profitable. But a movie like Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, that movie cost, I think, like $350 million to make by the end of it. So that movie's never going to be profitable. It's just not $1 billion movie.
Yeah.
You need a family movie to get that kind of number. But How to Train Your Dragon should perform well. Universal needs it to perform well because they've got a whole new section in their new theme park Epic universe dedicated to it.
Yeah. By the way, top box office Lilo Stitch last week, $32 million.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There you go. That's what you're thinking of.
Yep. And then we've also got a release from A24 this week. Materialist, a young, ambitious New York City matchmaker, finds herself torn between the perfect match and her imperfect ex. It stars Dakota Johnson, Chris Evans, and the most oversaturated actor in Hollywood today, Pedro Pascal.
He does everything. I hear you talk about him all the time.
He really is oversaturated.
He's going to burn out. Denzel Washington was talking to Michael B. Jordan maybe a couple months ago. The article came out about how as an actor, you should make it where you're only in big movies, so that way the audience has to pay to come see you, and they don't see you for free all week.
Okay, well, it's easy to say for a guy like Denzel, and Denzel's been doing it for 4 decades. But Pedro, the first time I saw him was as Red Viper at Game of Thrones, and then you saw Pedro Pascal in Narcos, and then he just absolutely exploded. And one of the reasons, well, there's multiple reasons. Do you watch The Last of Us on HBO?
I tried to get into it. I made it a few episodes in, and I just couldn't stick with it.
Well, boy, they lost half their audience in year 2. And a lot of that was in episode 2. He goes down, and I read about Season 3, it doesn't sound good.
No, season 3, I believe, is supposed to center around Abby.
It is, yeah.
And then finally, if you're not looking to go to the theaters tonight, you can tune into BBC America at 5 o'clock and watch Blade 1 and Blade 2.
Never seen them.
Oh, it's a good vampire, just popcorn movie. With Wesley Snipes running around with a sword and a bunch of guns killing vampires.
Chris Christopherson.
Yeah.
Vampire popcorn movie.
Norman Reedus is in part 2. It's wild.
So, Dangerous Animals, back to something you talked about a couple of weeks ago, because Mel was like, have you seen it yet? Have you heard anything about it? And I was like, Tyler was kind of talking about it, and he said it's incredible. What is Dangerous Animals again?
So Dangerous Animals is about this serial killer played by Jai Courtney who takes people out onto his boat on shark tours so they can swim with the sharks in the cage, and then he's absolutely obsessed with sharks, so he'll end up holding them hostage on the boat and feeding them to the sharks while like videoing it.
Okay.
He just loves sharks. And it's very disturbing, and Melton absolutely loved it.
Wow.
It's very disturbing.
He said it's
Nelson
one of his
absolutely
favorite
loved it.
movies of the year.
Wow. Okay.
And that's what Tyler and LT and the gang are watching this weekend, brought to you by our friends at Michelson Laser Vision. Brownie, it's time for a Vulcan Tire and Automotive U.S. Open leaderboard update. Just saw Rory McIlroy sprinting to mark his ball before it rolled down an incline on one of the fast greens there. More on that in a second. Tell us about Vulcan Tire and Automotive, LT.
If you're getting on the road, whether it's this weekend, anytime this summer, heading to the beach, the lake, make sure that that auto is tuned up, bumper to bumper. Our friends at Vulcan Tire and Automotive, they can handle that. Convenient locations throughout Birmingham. If you're rolling on the old tires, it's time for an upgrade. Mention the next round. They're going to give you the best tire pricing in all of Birmingham, guaranteed. Get in, see Chris, Richard. Fine folks there. Your car works hard for you. Let them return the favor at Vulcan Tire and Auto.
J.J. Spawn, still your leader, but he got caught up one of those church pews done away, so he's in a little bit of trouble as he plays his back nine. It's the front nine, but it's his back nine. Gary Woodland is one back at 3 under. Ludwig Oberg, Siwoo Kim, Thomas Dietrich, Thurston Lawrence, all at -2. So that's Roy McIlroy has made a bogey, though I believe that was a birdie putt. He was running up there to mark. He's back at 1 under.
You think Thurston Lawrence had his appearance number at the country club?
Thurston.
When we come back, Connor O'Gara talks college football with us from Saturday Down South. Great podcast. Follow him online everywhere. Connor on the other side, friend of the show, that's being brought to you today by our friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Looking to expand your business? Let the Next Round help you. Contact us, sales@nextroundlive.com, and be part of the team. Advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential customers on our ever-expanding platforms. The Next Round can take your business to the next level. Join our existing partners in the fastest-growing media space, both live and on demand, while reaching the most desirable audience for your business. Get more information by emailing sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level using the Next Round.
Hey, you. Days warming up, looking like spring. And at New Balance Birmingham, we've got the thing. What pops and what's fresh? Check the selects. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham. We got now.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, Connor O'Gara standing by. Our friends at New York Butcher Shop giving us a chance to get ready for this weekend coming up. It's a Father's Day weekend.
Yeah, just a few days away from Father's Day. What does Dad really want? He wants steak. You can get gift cards from the New York Butcher Shop. Very simple. Roll into one of those two locations, the original Cava Heights, Highway 119 in Greystone. You give him the gift card. It's going to give back to you because he's going to go buy delicious steaks, fantastic sides, great selection of fine wines and desserts as well. Two locations, rare quality, well-done service. Tell Jim and all the fine folks in the next round sent you.
Okay, Connor O'Gara, Saturday Down South, is a Chicago native. I'm right about that, Connor. You grew up in Chicago, am I correct?
Chicago suburbs, I like to say, because Chicago native sounds like stolen valor.
Okay.
Well,
Hinsdale?
No, Buffalo Grove, which is if you know, like Stevenson High School that's where Jalen Brunson went. I'm in the town that's like right next to that. He could have had the property line been a little bit different, gone to Buffalo Grove High School, but not bitter at all.
So let's guess the way he likes his steak cooked is a outside Chicago native.
It's got to be medium rare. It has to be.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't cook it medium rare?
I don't. I go medium.
A lot of people. Medium. Do you really?
Yeah, I like medium.
I like rare plus.
Warm pink center. Connor, you go with what?
I'm a medium rare guy.
Okay.
That would be my preference overall. That's what I try and cook for myself. Now, it gets a little bit tougher because my wife is medium and almost medium well, which I'm not going to criticize how she likes her food. You're entitled to eat your food however you want it. But it gets a little bit tougher if I get a large steak for the two of us, and then I'm trying to cook it somewhere in that happy medium.
I know.
Where literally the happy medium. It's a little bit tougher, but I've gotten a lot better at it. I think I've kind of mastered the art of being able to find what we both like on the grill.
Okay, can we get Iowa State out of the way because it was our preview team today, and Brown loves to scoff. And he scoffed at Matt Campbell. His 7-6s, two of those over the last 4 years, also an 11-3 in there. And I'm like, 7-6 in Ames is getting it done to me. Where are you on Matt Campbell, the program overall? They did lose a lot, but they went out in the portal. They actually spent a little money. Rocco Beck is back at quarterback. The Big 12 is loaded in the regard that there's so many teams, 1 through 8 that could actually win this thing. But do you give Iowa State a fighting chance? And where are you on Matt Campbell?
Absolutely. I mean, Matt Campbell's entering year 10. at Iowa State. Let's just process that for a second, because whatever over-under was set when that guy got the job, and then again when that guy had success at that job, he's wildly surpassed it by hitting the over. I mean, there's just so much respect that I have for what he's been able to do there. And it's a program that won 11 games last year. Nobody really processed that because the 12-team playoff era didn't include them in its first year. But, you return a quarterback in Rocco Beck that a lot of people really, really like. You kind of just have to trust that they develop the 3-star guys at this point. They have coordinator continuity. And in the Big 12, yeah, you better believe anybody's got a chance. Arizona State was picked to finish last in the Big 12 last year. They end up winning it. Everyone in the Big 12, which is America's conference, has an over-under between 5.5 and 8.5 wins. If that's not a conference up for grabs, I don't know what is. I would be foolish to rule out Iowa State winning the conference, even though I have Texas Tech, the fighting Cody Campbell's, winning that conference. I do think it's a team that you absolutely have to watch out for, and they're a very worthy inclusion in your is it 40 for 40? I don't want to misconstrue how you guys have called this.
We usually still borrow everything. So in the era of when we started this, ESPN had started doing their 30 for 30s. So we decided to do 40 and 40. 40 teams and 40 shows leading up to SEC Media Day. So it sounded cool back then. I did a thing because it was Rip City, hashtag Rip City for the Portland Trail Blazers. So back in the day, I came up with hashtag Jock City because we were on WJOX, Jock City. So if you're familiar with our show, I borrow and steal from everywhere.
Look, it's a content beast that we're all just trying to feed. We actually, and I was just talking to Pat Dooley about this about 20 minutes ago, who's covered Florida forever. At Saturday Down South, we now get called Saturdays Down South, and it's all because SEC Network, who we have a great relationship with, who's been very kind to us over the years, they did the docuseries Saturdays in the South. And ever since then, I've gotten introduced as Conor O'Gara from Saturdays Down South. I've gotten introduced like that so many more times, and I think it's 100% because of that. So, look, everybody's kind of stealing from each other at different points. It's just what does it look like and how egregious is it?
Yeah. You don't want to write too much about the House settlement because it becomes Saturday Days, D-A-Z-E, Saturdays Down South, and because that can just be boring content to me at that point. Do you find that subject line interesting at all?
The House settlement itself,
yes.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting because it's just different than any other era of college athletics in the way that this is being financed now, and how I think the most fascinating part is the governing and what the College Sports Commission is going to try and do that the NCAA couldn't, which is actually police the sport. And I don't know how that's going to go. They've got the Deloitte Clearinghouse that's going to be reviewing all of these third-party NIL deals that are above $600, basically so that you don't have the IRS coming at all of these different universities saying, well, this wasn't, approved and that wasn't approved. But this is going to be so difficult to police. I don't know how they're going to do it. I think the bag man is back in college football.
Well, you'll need 136 investigators, however many teams we have. You'll need one investigator for each school.
And even that, what's compliance going to report and what are they not going to report?
Yep.
There's just such a gray area that still exists, even though the College Sports Commission was literally hired by the Power Conference commissioners. They said, we need something new. We need something that's going to have everybody playing by the same set of rules so that this isn't the wild, wild west anymore. I don't know how they're going to deal with tampering, which is still going to be a massive problem. They haven't addressed the transfer portal issue, which is still a massive problem. And I don't know how this process is going to work and if they're actually going to be able to punish people, or if everybody's going to still just kind of going to be doing their own thing and just assuming that nobody's actually going to levy these punishments against universities.
Conor O'Gara is with us from the very singular Saturday Down South at CJ O'Gara is where you find him on social media. He is on the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys Hotline. All right, I feel like I'm doing the life story of Conor O'Gara. From Metro Chicago, you went to Indiana University. They were the surprise team out of the Big Ten. Almost everybody thinks it's going to be Illinois this year. That is the Indiana of this season. Can Brett Bielema do that?
Yes, I think he can. I have Illinois in the playoff this year, and I am bullish that the roster that he returns after Luke Altmaier announced in the spring that he's not going anywhere, he's not going to Tennessee. That's really what he meant. That the fact that they're bringing him back with that roster bodes well. It bodes really well because I think you saw in the bowl game, even against the South Carolina roster that wasn't exactly the regular season roster that they had with some of the opt-outs. This is a team that is built exactly like what Brett Bielema had at Wisconsin. And if you think back to those teams, the way that they could beat you up in the trenches, the way that they could run the football, they would always just have a smart quarterback, and they would win these games 21-17. They are always capable of doing that. And I think what we saw from Illinois is that they're a team that nobody's going to want to play. They just have dudes lined up on the defensive line that you're like, whoa, they can get after anybody in the country. I have that Ohio State game circled as one to keep in mind this year. That just like how it was in 2007 when Juice Williams and Aurelius Ben were beating Ohio State that year en route to the Rose Bowl. The Rose Bowl didn't go as well for them that year. I think this team has that type of capability. I don't think they've had consecutive 8-win seasons since the Reagan administration.
Wow.
So they're fighting some history. I think Bielema knows it, but a lot of people are saying, look, this guy is Midwest Lane Kiffin, and it's kind of hard to push back on that right now.
So, Connor, last year at this time, nobody was talking about Indiana. People were talking about Iowa could be the surprise team of the Big Ten. People looked at returning starters. They looked at the schedule. Iowa didn't have that year. They went 8-5. Everybody is talking Illinois. Nobody is talking Michigan State. I know Jonathan Smith in year 2. The only thing I hate about this is schedule. They're coming off of 5-7. Do you like this Michigan State team at all?
No, not really. No, I just don't. And Aiden Childs is a guy that is still too turnover prone. Now, they could have that year 2 bump because Jonathan Smith's a great coach. If you want to go and look back at the post-2017 coaching cycle, Jonathan Smith is number 1 on that list. The coaching cycle that was loaded with, Dan Mullen and Jimbo Fisher and Scott Frost and big, huge names. And Jonathan Smith kind of ended up being the best out of all of them. So I wouldn't necessarily discount that at Michigan State. But I just think they have a quarterback that's too turnover prone. I think they struggled in some very, very winnable games last year. And they don't recruit like a team that's all of a sudden going to flip that switch. So it's a little bit tougher for me to get there, especially knowing I think they have a difficult schedule. But like someone from the Big Ten is probably going to be that 4th team that's going to all of a sudden be 9-3 or something like that, or 10-2. And we're all going to go, I guess that just kind of worked out that way, much like what Indiana was last year.
Steve Sarkisian at the SEC meeting said he doesn't think there'll ever be another undefeated champion. For you, do you think we'll ever see an undefeated champion in college football again?
I think we will because never's a long time, but I think his point is spot on. I think he's right because you kind of have to coach for it in this day and age. You can't coach for 12-0. It used to be coach for 12-0, and then, man, you're going to get a chance to play in the national championship, or you're going to go to your conference championship game, and then you're going to, have that on the table. And even in the 4-team playoff era, you could coach for the regular season. If you're trying to win a title and you feel like you've got the horses to do it, you kind of have to manage your running back room. You kind of have to be cautious with guys coming off of injury. You really do have to play for the long term. And Texas last year was a team that stayed mostly healthy throughout the regular season. And late in the season, all these injuries started to pile up. The Quinn Ewers ankle injury that added to his oblique injury. They lose both of their starting tackles. They had running back issues in the preseason that kind of resurfaced with some of their depth down the stretch. And, you just kind of have to coach a different sort of way. And it's not just that Ohio State won a national championship as a team that went 10-2 in the regular season, but you're talking about 16-17-0, man. Like that is just no small feat. So we'll see it, but I agree with Sark that if it does happen, erect the statue. Give them a statue if that sort of thing happens, because it's just going to be no small feat to beat that many top 12 teams down the stretch.
All right, player in the country that the country is not talking enough about, a guy that Connor O'Gara loves, that you would say, I just do not think this guy gets the love he deserves nationally.
Man, that's a good question. I can go in a lot of different directions for this. Man, because I feel like Texas has a few, and that doesn't really. I don't want to go with Texas. Texas is a little bit too obvious of a candidate. How about this? Let's go with Mizzou's Ahmad Hardy.
Okay.
A guy that comes over from Louisiana Monroe after a 1,300 rushing yard season into a scheme that, I mean, it's Eli Drinkowitz in that offense that's run by Kirby Moore. It is an offense that we know they can crank out elite backs. And if you look up at the end of the season and say that guy is running for, like 1,800 yards, it shouldn't come off as that much of a surprise, especially with what they return on that offensive line at Mizzou. Let's see if Bo Perbula can be sort of the second coming of what Will Levis was after he transferred from Penn State into the SEC. If he can follow in those footsteps, that'd be fascinating. But Ahmad Hardy is a guy that I know Mizzou fans have really sky high expectations for. And then there's Sire Gaines at Boise State, who's replacing Ashton Genty, who got hurt in the first part of last year, that Boise State fans are like, yo, this is going to be the guy that's going to get us back to the college football playoff this year if he can stay healthy. Those are two running backs that probably won't be part of these national conversations as much, and they're not going to be in the Jeremiah Love category or anything like that. But, man, if you look up at the end of the season and go, those guys are competing for a Doak Walker, I don't think it should be surprising.
Okay, I know you like the weird questions. What would be more surprising to you at the end of the season? Georgia 8-4 or Kalen DeBoer in year 2 wins a national championship?
Georgia 8-4. Georgia 8-4 because they haven't been that bad since year 1 of the Kirby Smart era. To predict them to go 9-3 is to say that they will have their worst season since year 1 in 2016. So the schedule is difficult. It's still really difficult, but you get those big games at home. And last year they didn't. So what does that mean for Georgia, a team that we still have a lot of questions about? Look, I think that offense, it's going to be fair to question it. I'm not necessarily a Mike Bobo guy. I've been, not shy about that. And what does it look like with Gunnar Stockton, who had such a unique 6-quarter sample size last year, playing against arguably the two best passing defenses in college football with Texas and Notre Dame? And then what are we going to see from an offensive line that didn't push people around last year? I don't know. There are so many questions I have about Georgia, but 10-2 feels still like the floor. It just kind of does. That's been the MO for Kirby. Even last year, when it did not feel like a vintage Georgia team at all, you still look up at the end of the regular season and go, wait a minute, they just won an SEC championship in the first year of this 16-team conference. So I think that would be more surprising because I'm more bullish on Kalen DeBoer, the 15-3 record that he has against AP top 25 teams, the 6-1 record against AP top 10 teams, the fact that he has yet to lose to the likes of Kirby Smart and Steve Sarkisian, Dan Lanning, and Brian Kelly. None of those guys have beaten him. So to me, if he follows on that path, it'll be less surprising than Georgia having this, oh my gosh, what in the world are we doing type of season after consecutive years of missing the semifinals.
All right, throughout the course of this entire interview, the chat room has been dying to know the painting of the player over your left shoulder is what player?
That is Mr. Billy Williams.
Okay. I don't think
Cubs
that was
great.
guessed. I don't think that was guessed in the chat.
Okay.
Was Ernie Banks guessed?
Ernie Banks was guessed. Yeah.
It's a great guess.
Andre Dawson?
No, I don't think anybody had the Hawk.
Hawk would be great. Sweet swinging Billy Williams. I got that from my summer that I worked at the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, and it's like a 1 of 200 lithograph. I got the number one. Yeah, I think it's like 1 of 200 that they gave. They gave us a chance to like pick whichever one we wanted at the end of our summer internship, and I was there the summer that Ron Santo got inducted, the late Ron Santo, and as a Cubs fan, that was just the ultimate thrill. Billy Williams came by a week before the induction, and I got to follow him around for 2 hours and got to be able to spend that time with him and got that at the end of the summer. And so I always look back on that and, great time in my life and like to be able to display a unique piece of sports art.
Well, there you go. Billy Williams, out of left field, if I should say, in the chat room. Nobody saw that one coming. All right, Connor O'Gara, Saturday Down South, as Jim said, mini podcast there. Saturday Down South. You can follow him on social media at CJ O'Gara. He does tremendous work in the college football podcast world that you guys love so much. Connor, thank you very much for the time. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk again soon.
Happy Father's
Gentlemen,
Day, buddy.
Appreciate it. And by the way, LT rocking the Pete Rose look with the white hat. I respect it.
New hats in the merch store.
Yeah, nextround.store. Nextround.store. None that are Bears colors, but okay. Next round odds store.
All good.
We'll work on it. Thank you, Connor. Take care.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Connor O'Gara with us on the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys Hotline.
Yeah, Tyler, get that Shunnarah spotlight ready to go here in a second. After LT tells us about our friends at Odie's with our question of the night last night. LT, what was it, man?
Okay, you and Tyler chime in. Obviously, Brown knows this. What came first, Man on the Moon or Joe Rogan?
Joe Rogan, the person or the podcast?
The person.
Joe Rogan, the person. I'm going to say...
Rogan by 2 years.
I'm going to say Joe Rogan by 1 year. I'm going to say Rogan 1968, the Moon 1969.
Your old man, the late James Sr., would have said the podcast came first because he never believed man landed on moon, right?
That's right, a lot of people that way, absolutely.
1969, Man on Moon. Everybody knows that. July 16th, I think it was. July 17th. Joe Rogan, 1967. Rogan came first. These are the little things you learn at Odie's Team Trivia. Come out, join us every Wednesday night. Another great crowd last night. Abby Jo helped us out with that. Will Haver will be back next week. You can always enjoy the great food at either one of his locations. The original Crestline that we were at last night. Newest location, Oxmoor and Broadway in Edgewood. A great food from Rodney Davis for the last almost 4 decades. Ice cold beer buckets full of the Bud Light. It's Birmingham Institution. Get in to one of those 2 locations for lunch, dinner, Game 4, Stanley Cup Finals. It's Odie's Tavern.
The College Football Spotlight.
The Shunnarah Spotlight presented by our guy Alexander Shunnarah. More than 24 years in Birmingham, a firm that has grown to more than 150 lawyers, supported by more than 500 dedicated team members. They've recovered that $2 billion we often tell you about by maintaining Alexander's core values of integrity, mastery, passion, and success. When you find yourself in need of a lawyer, call the Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys. Said it great. The Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys. You pay nothing unless they win your case. Shunnarah.com. Shunnarah.com.
I think Auburn built their football facility a couple of years ago in the $90 million range. The one we were talking about at Mississippi State a few weeks ago, I think it's going to be in the $62 million range. How about a $134 million football facility at Cincinnati?
Wow.
Cincinnati football. Tour this place right here. They got a lot of family names on here. Some are partial Reds ownership and other business people that are Cincinnati alumni. The meeting rooms for each individual, the big team rooms, just beautiful there. But even an indoor facility that looks fantastic. This is big time for the Cincinnati Bearcats, part of the Big 12. LT and Brownie, look at this facility.
That's beautiful. It really is. Spending that Big 12 money quick.
I will tell you, they have been really, really quiet since we saw them in the college football playoff.
Yep. Look at the locker rooms here as you jump into the locker room. Just a beautiful facility there. Indoor facility coming up in a second.
Yeah, I thought Scott Satterfield was a weird hire for them, Lance.
Yeah, I did too. I think this shows you Cincinnati's got a little bit of money, though. I guess facilities still matter. I think, again, it comes down to the bottom line of money.
I really thought we would see less and less of this, and perhaps this was already groundbroken and in motion before we were to where we are in the world of college athletics.
These are renderings coming up soon.
Oh, that's renderings?
Yeah.
Well, those are good renderings. I thought these
really.
were
that's really it? They opened it up for us?
They opened it yesterday.
I was about to say, it's the best renderings I've ever seen.
I was about to say, I smelt new.
Yeah, it's a good-looking facility. I'll give them credit on that one. They did very, very well.
Yeah, it looks good, and I think facilities still matter like this, LT, not stadiums, but I think where you practice and health. I've seen a couple of recruits who picked Alabama because of the sports medicine side of it all.
It was a point where those guys hung out there all the time, but if you're making millions of dollars, you can buy a badass condo now.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Good for Cincinnati. That's our spotlight today. Tell us about Lags. That'll get us to our 4 downs that Tyler has for us, usually away from sports, always away from sports. Lags will get you away from that usual food to take you back in time to the 1980s in Homewood.
Yeah, you know what's awesome is not having to look at hours of a restaurant. And once we get to Thursday, Friday, Saturday at Lags, you basically can eat almost 24 hours. Starts at 6 a.m. with a great breakfast, goes all the way to 2 a.m. if you work that second or third shift. Get in there, grab one of those delicious burgers. See Eric, Justin, tell them the guys from the Next Round sent you. They're conveniently located 4350 3rd Court South. It's between Avondale and Cahaba Brewing. Stone's throw away from Mom's Basement. Fantastic patio. Watch games out there. Enjoy the cold beer. But get in to Lag's Eatery, again, for lunch, dinner, breakfast, late night. It's all right there.
First down.
Jim Neighbors, best known for playing Gomer Pyle on Andy Griffith, would have been 95 years old today. So, who is the best non-main character in a TV show?
Oh, I've got a few.
You can go a lot of ways with this. Incidentally, just real quick, interviewed Jim Neighbors many years ago. An incredibly nice guy. It was an in-person interview. It was when Farm Links opened, to put it in perspective how long ago this was, and he is friends with Mr. Purcell, Jim Purcell, the father, and came into town for the grand opening and sat down and did like a 30-minute interview with me. Could not have been a nicer guy. Very great.
Part of 280 named after him, helped Wimp recruit from the islands of Hawaii.
Yeah,
so,
from a battleship.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any? I've got a
Creed
few going.
Creed Bratton is what I would say, and he was used so sparingly is one reason I would say this. He was perfect probably every time he was used. But he being one of the writers of The Office, the other writers realized, let's don't overuse this guy. Let's make it count when we use him. He was a spectacular character that was so often in the background, but when the spotlight hit him, he delivered every single time. So I'd go Creed Bratton.
Yeah, as good as Walt White was in Breaking Bad, without Jesse Pinkman, I just don't think it's the same show. So I did think Aaron Paul as Jesse Pinkman was incredible. Roger Sterling on Mad Men, I thought you would go that way, bro.
So good. What a great character.
Yeah, because Jack was asking me the other day, we were watching Mad Men, and he was like, who is Roger Sterling? What other stuff has he done? As John Slattery, he's just kind of a character actor. He hasn't done a lot of stuff. That role was absolutely perfect for him. But the best ever limited time, Ian McShane as Swearingen on Deadwood. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. I like all of those. Those sound good. I'll go with those. Those were all fantastic. You got one?
I'd probably go with maybe Kramer from Seinfeld. But Aaron Paul as Jesse Pinkman's a good choice as well.
Yeah,
they were originally going to kill that character off at the end of season 1, but Aaron Paul's performance was just so good they had to keep him around for the whole thing.
I never thought you liked Seinfeld. That's good to know.
Hey, same show, but David Puddy.
Puddy is fantastic. Yeah, he is so funny. I'll come back and pick you up. We'll make out. So good.
I like when he's on the plane just looking straight forward.
Yeah.
Like, are you going to read anything? Nah.
He played dumb. Just so great.
You going to take a nap?
Yeah, nah.
Second down.
Raiders of the Lost Ark turns 44 today. What's your favorite moment in any of the Indiana Jones movies?
The credits? No, I'm kidding. I loved them as a kid. I did. And I was telling somebody yesterday, because we were talking about Navarre Beach, and one of my early memories was being at the Holodome. Do you guys remember the Holodome down there? It was a Holiday Inn. It's where they filmed Jaws, too, but that was the first time I saw Raiders of the Lost Ark. They had a theater there. They had a pizzeria, and I remember watching it, going back every day that we were there to watch it. I loved, as a kid, when the dude has got the sword and he's doing all that, and then Indiana just pulls out the revolver, one shot. The whole theater every time just laughed out loud.
And the story behind it, the real story of why that scene happened, makes it even a better scene.
And what was it?
Harrison Ford had food poisoning or something like that, and he was extremely ill when they were trying to film that scene. And he did it almost as a joke, and they were like, "Oh no, that is perfect. No, let's leave that in."
So originally he was supposed to fight back some other way, but he was just not feeling very well, so he just pulled the gun out and shot him.
As I remember the story done away, it was like a joke. Like everybody knew he was sick, and he just did the gun, and they're like, "Oh no, that's really, really good. Let's keep it in."
Yeah, that's a great one. I love the snakes. Yeah, always snakes.
Had to be snakes.
Yeah.
Third down.
You have one, Brown?
That one, no, that was mine too. The same one Lance said, yeah.
Predator turns 38 today. So what's the best movie villain design in your opinion?
Can I go really TV on you? Just because it's no CGI and it's legitimate. The Mountain from Game of Thrones.
That is that.
I mean, just looking at the guy, you're like, this guy can't be real. And then you do the backstory, and he was one of the world's strongest men. Remember the competition where they throw kegs over walls and carry refrigerators? Dude's out of like Sweden, but he's legit 6'10", 400 pounds, can bench like 2 Volkswagens. I mean, to see that guy out there in those scenes, pretty miraculous.
And he looks really scary in the later seasons after Cersei starts doing like black magic on him.
Yeah, where his face is like purple and his eyes are green.
So when you said character or villain design, you mean like
Alien,
like Predator. I think that's a cool design. Even if you like the movie, don't like the movie, the Predator is cool. The Alien, the Xenomorph from Alien
Xenomorph
is a cool design.
Well, I'm gonna suck at this question, Dunaway.
Yeah, I
Darth
have
Vader
nothing.
is a cool design.
Darth Vader I could live with. Yeah,
is the kid I had the Xenomorph and it had the little latch on the back where you'd hit it and the teeth would come out.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I wonder what that thing would be worth in the box now from, the original, which was 1979.
Oh, man, I can't imagine. I've seen collections of DVDs they've released with a giant, Xenomorph carrying case. It's a big alien head that displays all the movies.
Well, you're the guy that's in anime and all the sci-fi and everything. I mean, for you?
What's that?
Like for you, who's the best villain design?
Ooh, I think the Xenomorph's really strong. I'd probably lean Xenomorph.
I would say, spoiler alert, this is 15 years ago, and I've never seen them, and I love both Predator and Alien, but I never saw Predator versus Alien.
Not worth a watch.
Oh, wow. Tyler shoots
Which one would win, though? I'm sure somebody's done a deep dive on this, right?
I can't even remember because they ended up doing a sequel, and ended up...
Yeah, one enough.
It was like an army between... Or like a war between an army of predators and the Xenomorph Queen. It was really weird and bad.
That sounds like it.
Really
Fourth down.
What 3 pizza toppings could you put together to make the worst possible pizza? And these all have to be real pizza toppings.
Italian sausage, anchovies, and pineapple would be my 3. I like pineapple. I hate the other 2.
Yeah, I think the Italian sausage, though, if you like anchovies, might work. How about pineapple, sun-dried tomatoes, and anchovies?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like Italian sauces or anchovies. So for me, those 2 on anything I don't like.
It would have to start with peppers and onions for me. I can live with the peppers by themselves, but when you have peppers and onions together, that's way too much.
But would you scrape peppers and onions off before anchovies?
I've had very few anchovies in my life. I can't even remember where it was, but there was a salad I used to really like.
I know where it is because I can't eat it anymore because the anchovy's so strong.
But then I remember when y'all brought that up, I was like, well, I didn't even know it had the anchovies in it, and I very much like that salad.
It's a chopped salad across the street, and the anchovy is so over the top.
Yeah, so maybe I'm one of the rare people that actually likes anchovies, and I don't even know it. I mean, that is possible. I'd go peppers, onions, and jalapenos, and I like jalapenos.
That sounds like a delicious pizza.
Oh, you kidding me? First of all, where's the meat? But secondly, boy, that's just a lot of competing, battling flavors.
We went to a pizza joint last night, and their signature pizza that Brown used to order is out.
Off the menu.
How disappointed were you?
Very. I mean, I scanned, somebody's like, what do you get here? And I was like, oh, it's a great pizza. What's the name of it? I was like, well, I can't find it on the menu. Why can I not find it on the menu? And then I asked the waitress, she's like, yeah, we don't serve that anymore. I was like, what's your best pizza? What you doing? Of course, they don't tell me how to do a show. I don't tell them how to run a pizza joint.
And that's 4 downs today. The show being brought to you in part today by our friends at Gutter Cap. Your chance to add value to your home as maybe you're putting it on the market this summer, or maybe you just bought a new home, or maybe you want your home to last longer. Our friend C-Stu and Gutter Cap can make all of that happen.
Yeah, I know we're going to do a U.S. Open update. I just want you guys to look in front of you. McIlroy, if you want the definition... The 3 consecutive shots in this rough, he can't move 10 feet.
I know.
I don't know what his ultimate score is going to be on 13 here.
Yeah, he is in deep, deep trouble.
But, I mean, it might be triple, quadruple bogey. He can't get out of this rough.
He looks lost in life right now.
Cap it, don't snap it. 205-823-2212. That is the number you need to call. Make sure you tell C-Stu, the guys from the Next Round sent you. He's going to hook you up with an absolutely free estimate. It's some of the best pricing out there. Great special from our friends at Gutter Cap of Birmingham. Weekend is about to roll around. You work hard all week. Last thing you want to do is get the ladder out. It's a dirty, dangerous job. You fall off the roof, snap the neck, and die. No good to the wife or kids. Cap it, don't snap it. 205-823-2212 or guttercapbirmingham.com.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older, must be present to win.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Think about the best summer nights of your life. How many of those were in a great t-shirt? Visit nextround.store to get the perfect t-shirt for the next perfect southern night. Nextround.store. The memories are waiting.
As we all know, there's no off season when it comes to college football. If you want to stay in the know with all things Alabama, join us over on covercrimson.com and get $25 off your annual subscription. We'll keep you up to date and give you exclusive content all the way to the first Saturday of football season on covercrimson.com.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
All right, Auburn fans, I want you to become a member of thebarnauburn.com and join in on the fun. Whether it's recruiting discussions, off-season chatter, or the latest Auburn athletics news, we've got it all. Get $25 off your annual subscription when you sign up for your account at thebarnauburn.com today. War Eagle.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing. When you crave activity like we do, you belong in the Roback family. Get the best golf wear, hoodies, and activewear for men and women at Roback.com. Use promo code TNR20 to get 20% off your order. That's Roback.com, promo code TNR20.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new Chicken and Bowberry Waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a Bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try Chicken and Bowberry Waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
A couple of futures so bright you got to wear sunglasses recruiting notes right now. If you're Alabama, you got to be excited if the Fong bomb is correct on this guy. Who's that guy that makes the Fong?
Steve Wilfong.
Yeah. Is he an on-3 guy?
I think Steve Wilfong is on 3, Jim. I believe so.
He's making a Fong bomb projection. Jairi Edwards, 5-star safety, second best safety in America, top 25 player in America, 5-star guy.
He's getting the gym.
He's making the projection to go to Alabama. A lot of people thought he'd end up at Oregon. He has an Oregon visit, a Texas A&M visit still to come. But
is that a high school kid?
Yeah, he's a recruit, a 5-star recruit safety, and Fongbaum is making the projection that he could end up at Alabama, number 2 safety in America. If he does, then Jet Washington could end up going to Oregon, who's another top safety. But he's from St. Francis Academy up in Baltimore, and considered to be one of the best prospects in the upcoming class. That could also lead to another big get for Alabama. 4-star edge Kwame Brooks is down to just Georgia and Alabama. Now, he's from over in Buford in Georgia, so he's a Georgia kid, but he's a 4-star edge guy that is down to Alabama and Georgia, but he has dropped Texas and USC off of his list. So a lot of big recruits coming up, and Auburn could have their quarterback of the future, Landon Duckworth from Jackson, Alabama. He's a 4-star guy. It's down to Auburn and South Carolina. He has dropped Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss out of his recruitment. Hayes Fossen making a point there. South Carolina has made it, they make one player their must-get guy every year under Shane Beamer, and it's usually an out-of-state guy. Harbor was one of the big recruits they got. It was their must-get guy. And according to the folks who cover recruiting, Duckworth is Shane Beamer's must-get guy. They want him to follow up Lenore Sellers in the quarterback room when he leaves. So it's down to South Carolina and Auburn in recruiting news there. That's the future so bright you got to wear shades from our friends at Breakline.
Hey, Father's Day is coming up over the weekend. A great gift for dear old dad. A great pair of Breakline Optics sunglasses. Think about it now. Every time he puts these on, he's going to think of you. And remember, this was a gift from you, the man that taught you how to reel in the big ones, sink the impossible putt, even if it took a mulligan. Breakline Optics crafts sunglasses worthy of a man who knows every adventure on the green or at the lake is an opportunity to make memories. Shades designed with Southern grit. They are local guys, Breakline. A touch of refined style. That's just like Dad himself, right? Let's be honest, he's always been classy, even when the fishing stories get bigger than life or the golf scores get a little lower than they really were. Breakline Optics, sunglasses legendary as the fishing tells and the golf scores. BreaklineOptics.com. BreaklineOptics.com. Use code TNR25 for 25% off this Father's Day. So we're helping you save. BreaklineOptics.com, code TNR25.
Hopefully I get a chance to wear them tomorrow down at the Landing. When we're down there 3 to 5, we'll be hanging out there. If you want to come by and see us at the Landing tomorrow. I know a couple of you had reached out. Not a live show, not 9 to 12 there tomorrow. We'll be down there hanging out 3 to 5, and LT and Brownie may be staying a little longer through the weekend. So you can go by and see them at the Landing as Herb Winches and his company celebrate 10 years right there at the Landing. We look forward to that happening tomorrow. At top of the hour, we will get to the projections of the next dynasty. A little basketball before we get back to football here. They announced the SEC-ACC Challenge. You can call it the ACC-SEC Challenge if you want, but it was 14-2 last year. The SEC beat them 14-2. Fair to say that this is when the nation started to take notice that the Southeastern Conference was going to be special. I'm a little upset about this because last year Auburn and Alabama, Auburn a Final Four team, Alabama an Elite Eight team, they got the honor of playing North Carolina and Duke. It's back to old school stuff this year. This graphic from our friends at the Field of 68. Florida gets to go to Cameron Indoor this year. Auburn went last year. North Carolina had Alabama last year. They get to go to Rupp Arena for the first time since 2014. Interesting, Auburn and Bruce Pearl, they do get Will Wade and NC State. That's supposed to be a pretty good team. Alabama gets a home game as well this year with Clemson that's been to the Elite Eight and has been pretty good recently. But I think a lot of Alabama and Auburn fans were hoping maybe for a return trip or get one of the Blue Bloods to come to them. Not the case this year. NC State to Auburn, Clemson, Alabama. First thoughts on that?
I feel like we get Alabama and Clemson a lot. And maybe it's...
I would have said the same with Auburn Clemson.
Not as much as maybe it's not as much as I think. And I know one of those was the NCAA tournament, the Elite Eight.
Yeah, they played in the regular season
that
as well.
Year, yeah. But it feels like we get Alabama Clemson a lot. That is a All right.
To LT's point, I think 2 years ago, I think we had Auburn and Clemson in this challenge, didn't we?
Well, and we had them in the NCAA tournament, I think 4 years ago. What is Will Wade's straight-up record versus Bruce Pearl's?
You know this? Do you know the answer?
I'm looking for
the
it.
answer.
I'm going to say they met 4 times, and I'm going to say it is 2-2.
Yeah, it's probably an even split if I had to guess.
The only thing I see here, Will Wade is about to make the same mistake Bruce Pearl did. I don't know what that article's about, but
if it was a mistake, don't do it.
I don't have it. I think Pearl's teams were much better though. Will Wade's a hell of a coach.
Yep. NC State Auburn is one big game. Interesting. Louisville and Arkansas is on that list. That could be a good matchup. Tennessee at Syracuse, that's probably a blowout. You get Mississippi State playing Texas Tech. Oh, excuse me, Georgia Tech. Mississippi State playing Georgia Tech. And, that Mississippi State's a tournament team. Miami, Ole Miss, that could be 2 tournament teams. After you get away from the big ones, it gets pretty bland down the list there.
Yeah, I don't, Georgia Duke, Florida Duke was not your matchup that they had in mind probably in February.
Yeah.
Like if you'd have said, who are going to be our matchups in February, Florida Duke was not going to be your primo matchup until Florida won the national championship.
2 Final Four teams
That's
there.
right.
Virginia, Texas, you have Odom, the new coach at Virginia, Sean Miller, the new coach at Texas. That could be interesting. But the problem with, when you look at that graphic, it's the ACC that's letting us down on some of these matchups. If Syracuse was good again, that would be a good matchup. If you just go through the list, if Miami is what they used to be, Ole Miss would be a good matchup. If Georgia Tech's what they used to be, that'd be a good matchup. If Pitt's what they used to be, Buckyball, Texas A&M, that'd be a good matchup. So it's the ACC that's sort of letting us down on some of those.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you at all. And, Virginia has been a shell of what they were at Texas. That is supposed to be one of the primo matchups there. I think Texas will be improved after the Rodney Terry firing. I don't know, but, a Virginia-Texas game is not what it once was. So, yeah, you're right about that. Some of it is the fault of the ACC.
Yeah, I do expect Texas to be a lot better under Sean Miller.
I think they've got to improve some, don't they? I mean, that was an underwhelming stretch of basketball they played under Rodney Terry.
Right, and you see how quick it can turn. Just what Pat Kelsey did with Louisville last year.
That's right.
You can go and see those matchups and the early kick times. Taylor Korn, our social media director, has a lot of good content coming out at Next Round Live on all the platforms to go check this out. We talked earlier about the Pacers winning last night. Did you see where that cost Jay-Z $1 million?
I did not. Did he have OKC minus the 5.5?
Jay-Z had a $1 million bet at plus 230 that the series would go, that the Thunder would win it exactly in 5 games, the series, which is a bet you can make.
Yeah.
So he was betting gentleman's sweep.
And $1 million that he put there would have paid him $3.3 million had he ended up winning it. His net worth is $2.5 billion.
Yeah, I was going to say that really is like a $100 bet for us.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think about, but it really is.
Yeah, so Jay-Z losing money on that one. You get Edmonton and Florida game 4 tonight in the Stanley Cup, 7 o'clock on TNT. Before we move away from basketball, there's a huge high school basketball tournament going on. And if I give you the name Abdul Aziz Olajuwon.
Oh, Hakeem's kid, huh?
Yeah.
How big?
Played 2 games yesterday. I think he's a forward. I don't think he's Hakeem's size.
Boy, his mom must have been small.
But check me on that. 29 in the first game, 20 in the second game yesterday. He's only a 3-star recruit, which is why I don't think he's Hakeem's size. I did not check his size, but they expect his 3-star rating to go up pretty soon. So Olajuwon's kid.
I'm trying to find his size. Okay, Abdul Aziz Olajuwon, 6'6", 195.
6'6", 195.
Boy, he is a beanpole. Now, his dad wasn't exactly fat.
Yeah, I wonder when Hakeem had his growth spurt.
I don't know. I wonder if it is like David Robinson. Well, I mean, when Olajuwon was at Houston, he was already playing at 7 foot, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a big guy when he got to Houston.
Yeah. It's not like David Robinson, who grew so much when he was at Navy.
Yeah, look, and he was a different big because Olajuwon was so athletic.
Yeah.
I still don't think we'll ever give him the credit he deserved.
Who, Hakeem?
Yeah.
Why so?
Well, when you go greatest of all time, Kareem eats up a lot of that.
Yeah, Shaq. I mean, there's just a lot
Bill
of
Russell.
Yeah, a lot of bigs that in Olajuwon who knows?
He's gotta be in the
one might be the
discussion.
best. He needs to be.
In the 50 and 50 and 75 years, I'd put Elijah Wan on that list, though.
Oh, yeah. So, I think David Robinson might get more credit. Elijah Wan was a better player.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, but Robinson won the championships is why?
Yeah, but Elijah Wan won, too.
Yeah, he did. But they are what do you always say about him?
Yeah, there was no Jordan.
There was no Jordan. But he was Dream Team, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that to me, from that era of basketball.
If you got put on that team.
If you got put on the Dream Team, you've gotten the credit you deserve. That was credit in and of itself. I mean, that was the greatest collection of basketball players we'd ever seen. And to me, if you were on that team, that said everything about you as a player.
All right, Tyler, give me cut number 2 now. Back to college football we go here. Bill Belichick, back at work at North Carolina, through doing interviews and things like that, had a news conference as he's ready for the offseason with the North Carolina Tar Heels. This is back on Tuesday. He gets asked what the biggest misconception about him is. Here's Bill Belichick, head coach, North Carolina.
What do you think is the biggest misconception about you in your time here at Carolina so far?
Yeah, I don't know. Look, I'm really focused on, doing my job here at Carolina, which is to help our football team. And that's, just to get better every day, to stack those days together, training days, preparation days, days out on the field. And we've done that. And, our staff's, again, done a great job of working hard to do that. So, that's my big focus. I mean, is there noise out there? We've always dealt with that. Really, our job is to build the football team and for the team to, help build the team and also build their individual careers. So that's really where we're at.
Electric company, just like when he was at the Patriots.
Yeah. What if he'd been like, the biggest misnomer about me is that I can't run these young girls without money.
That's right. Y'all are all wrong about why this girl's dating me.
A little downplaying. There's some noise out there around us. There has been a lot of noises out off season. Before I show you a picture that Forster is going to pull up, it'll be part of the conversation. More awkward seeing him, or unusual, disconcerting seeing him in North Carolina gear, or seeing Pete Carroll in Raiders gear?
Probably Belichick, because if you would have told me there was going to be a time where Pete Carroll left Seattle, went to another organization, it wouldn't have blown me away. If you would have said Belichick winning all of these Super Bowls with the New England Patriots was going to be the head coach of North Carolina football, never would have believed it.
Yeah, that's the thing. At least Pete Carroll's wearing NFL gear.
And
that's the shocking thing about this.
Pete Carroll could get away with the 20-something-year-old girl and wearing Jumpman. Bill Belichick just looks such a fish out of water with the gear on, with the girl, everything about it.
Yeah, 14 years in Seattle for Pete Carroll.
Yeah. This just looks, I don't know. I mean, Bill Belichick wearing college gear just looks weird to me.
Hey, if I asked you guys this now, this would have been an easy answer for some 5, 6, 7 years ago. But who do you believe ultimately is the better coach, Pete Carroll or Bill Belichick?
What do you mean the better coach?
Right now, if you had to say who's...
Well, Pete Carroll's never going to win the Super Bowls.
Well, I mean, Belichick's got all those Super Bowls,
I know, but,
and everybody's going to say, well, it was Tom Brady.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Belichick has taken a lot of hit on his legacy. Pete Carroll, when you look at what he was able to do at USC to build that up and where it went once he left, and then what he was able to do with Seattle, an organization that had never won one, but he really had the opportunity. He should have won 2, won 1.
Yeah, but a lot of people will say he cost them the one.
It was a bad play call.
Yeah, it was a bad play call. Bill Belichick cost the Patriots. Did he lose one? Did they ever lose a Super Bowl?
The Patriots? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Remember the undefeated team lost.
Yeah, they lost 2.
To the Giants, right?
Yeah, and I hate to do this, Scott. It comes up all the time, though, but they were dead to rights in a third one, if not for...
Yeah,
Atlanta just completely forgetting how to play
football. So do you guys
football.
not think it's a debate who's the better overall coach?
I don't think Pete Carroll will be remembered as Bill Belichick. Now, if he wins another Super Bowl, do you know how old he's going to be in September?
Oh, Pete Carroll's going to be 72, 73?
74 years old in September. Yeah, so it doesn't have many more years left coaching there. By the way, speaking of his old team,
he wants to be the first coach to coach at 100.
Yeah, he's seeing Dick Vitale. They want to be working at 100.
Who's in a better shape now? Let me ask you this way. Is Seattle better off now than they were last year? Last year they had the Seahawks. They had Geno Smith and DK Metcalf. Now they got Sam Darnold and Cooper Kupp. Better off last year or this year?
I would rather go to war with Geno Smith and DK Metcalf than Sam Darnold and Cooper Kupp.
So Metcalf was never the receiver Cooper Kupp was, but Cooper Kupp seems, after week 1 of last year, seems like it's lost a lot of steam. I've got to see Sam Darnold do it somewhere else. Geno Smith was just really steady Eddie.
He was a average NFL quarterback, but that's better than what Sam Darnold has ever
I
been.
think it's about the same. I think they're 8 or 9 wins.
Yeah, but I feel like in that situation, I'm always going to go with a better quarterback. Geno Smith feels like the better quarterback than Sam Darnold, though it is only marginally better. I think he's better.
Our Michelson, take a look at this picture of the day. I just talked about wearing Carolina blue or Raiders silver and black. How about a black and white Sox hat in the Vatican yesterday? There's the Pope, Pope Leo, with us. That's not photoshopped, by the way.
Boy, different world we live in.
That is the Pope, Pope Leo, with a Sox hat on. It was part of his general, what's it called?
It's like he's about to cut a ribbon. Opening of a hot dog stand.
The official term is general attendance, where he is in Vatican City, and folks make the trip up and get a chance to talk and be blessed by the Pope. And it's a wedding party that is there of Sox fans, right, Forrester?
Well, so upon a deeper dive here, they're actually Red Sox fans who were over there for their honeymoon.
Wow, they're Red Sox fans?
Yeah, the DeStefanos were there for their honeymoon and gifted Pope Leo here this good-looking White Sox hat as a
and fitted, so they had to do a little research to get hat size. I mean, you get a fitted hat.
Yeah,
it could go the wrong direction really quick.
You don't want to go too small there.
That fits him perfectly there. Well, good for him for playing along there and not being so stuffy, not to take off his other hat and put that one on. Pretty cool.
That's my Pope.
Do you think a Pope has ever thrown out a first pitch?
No. I'm going to say in Major League the movie. Not Major League. What was it? What was the name of that movie where it had the Nelson guy that moonwalked as an umpire?
Naked Gun.
Naked Gun. Yeah. Did the Pope throw out a first pitch in that one?
No, that was the Queen of England. That was, yeah.
All right.
Enrico Palazzo.
Enrico Palazzo was singing the anthem and calling balls and strikes a little bit later. Right. But Pope Leo has the open invite, Scott, by your team to throw out a first pitch. They said anytime he wants to do it. And I can't find – I'm looking to see if a Pope has ever done this. I cannot find it if a Pope has ever thrown out a first pitch.
It looks like a spoof in my head as I try to picture it happening.
Yeah.
That's our picture of the day, brought to you by our friends at Michelson Laser Vision.
205-969-8100. Stop procrastinating. If you've been wearing the glasses or the contacts, now is the time to get the free consultation. Find out if LASIK is right for you. 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. For more information, michelsonlaservision.com.
Okay, before we get to the top of the hour, cut number 1, Tyler. We have mandatory minis going on in the NFL, wrapping up after this short week of mini camps. And sometimes you're older than all your coworkers. Joe Flacco is in that situation in Cleveland where he's 41, and that quarterback room includes 2 rookies who are in their early 20s. And there's just sometimes a generational gap between people who are 20 years older than other people in whatever walk of life you get. Joe Flacco on social media, especially in an NFL locker room, here is the Cleveland Browns, at least right now, Cleveland Browns quarterback.
I think when it initially came in, I think Twitter started right around 07, 08. I came in 08. I can remember like the first time I walked into the cafeteria in Baltimore and somebody was like, hey, you mind if we tweet this? And nobody knew what that meant. I think the evolution has kind of come from that's a method to kind of see some stuff and have some fun to like it's the main news source, you know. Now I think we live in this world where just like everything you see on there, there's a good portion of people that are taking whatever you see on there very seriously. And sometimes it's not the case, but you just have to, I don't know. I've been on Instagram. That's the only thing I've ever logged in on in my life. I won't download the other things because I don't miss them. If you told me you're taking Instagram away, I've been on it. I'm too far down the road, but like Twitter and all those other things, I won't even download it on my phone just because I know it's a trap to just get sucked in.
You're not going to do the dance on TikTok then? Is what you're telling me?
No TikTok dances. The fact that people, that is different too. This generation, the fact that people want to get on their phones and show people the most, that's embarrassing. You're an adult. Be an adult. It's just I can't wrap my head around that. And I get it. You have kids and you want to have fun with your kids. Have fun with your kids in private. That's what I think.
Hey, Flacco 41, son and 71,
yelling at clouds.
That is the one I would keep Instagram over any of them. Though.
Yeah, me too. But the TikTok dances they can wear you out. And can you not see at some point Shedeur Sanders in that locker room with a bunch of players doing TikTok dances? Because you see him popping out of the Bama and Auburn football and basketball locker rooms all the time now.
Yeah. What was the was it the Steelers where one of the players was live streaming the coach's post game? I can't remember what NFL franchise it was, but one of the players was live on maybe TikTok or Snapchat, and it was the coach's post game. I mean, I
do remember the story. I don't remember what order.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if it was college or the NFL.
Yeah, it was NFL, I'm almost certain. But, that is when it has crossed the line right there, obviously, because that is a sanctuary of sorts for NFL players.
Okay, we'll update you on the U.S. Open in the final hour of our show and get to a lot more. Don't forget, you can get to the good times this weekend with our friends at Company Distilling, now available in Alabama from the great state of Tennessee to ABC stores in your neighborhood now. And if you're watching us anywhere in the world, keep an eye on when Company Distilling is available in your neighborhood.
I was having dinner with friends and clients last night, and I was asked, have you had any new good bourbon? And I mentioned Company Distilling. They had never heard of it. I was like, you got to pick up a bottle. I'll get you a bottle of this rye. It is absolutely fantastic. You can now find Company Distilling in ABC stores across Alabama, where we originate from, and in states like Georgia, Tennessee, Florida, South Carolina. Whether you're picking up a bottle for a weekend gathering or just exploring something new, Company Distilling, it's worth the pour. If you can't find it on the shelf, just ask your local store to order it in. Spirits this good deserve to be shared. Must be 21 or older to purchase. Please enjoy responsibly. For more information, CompanyDistilling.com/Alabama.
Follow LT on Twitter @TheLanceTaylor.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
It's time to pull the trigger on the Next Round merch that you've been eyeing. We know there's a lot to choose from at nextround.store, so here's a few of our favorite picks. If you want to match LT and Brown, go with the TNR logo hoodie and throw in one of Dunaway's favorite hats. Any of them will do. The Backroom's go-to is the classic logo t-shirt, while my personal favorite is the light blue TNR crew neck. All of these items can be found at nextround.store and are EG approved. Rest assured, your order will be packed with lots of love from us here at the Next Round. Head over to nextround.store to start filling up your cart.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Hey, you. days warming up. Looking like spring. And at New Balance Birmingham, we've got the thing. What pops and what's fresh? Check the selects. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Hey friends, if you're looking to expand your business and inform the Next Round audience about your exciting brand, contact us at sales@nextroundlive.com to be part of the team and advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential consumers on our ever-expanding platform. Let the Next Round help take your business to the next level. Get more information by emailing us at sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level with the Next Round.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Final hour of the show, I'm about to ask these guys to give me the list of their 5 teams they think are most likely to be the next dynasty in college football, whenever that is. I define a dynasty as 3 championships in 5 years, 4-8, 5-10 to be a dynasty.
Can we do none?
You can go none if you'd like. Most likely, it would make the segment a little bit more interesting.
Well, I'm just saying, I don't know if we're going to get that again in college football.
Absolutely, maybe that's the case. But that's coming up. First, a couple of business notes. One, the sponsor of this final hour, our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. They bring you this hour every day. I was talking to an associate of ours up here yesterday about folks like at Champy's that have been with us since day one. Sterling down there is just one of the great sponsors of our show. Been here, a day one guy for 972 shows now, with his location of Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken right there on Highway 119 in Alabaster. Just good guy who runs a great business, serves you great food all the time. Means a lot that every plate that goes out meets a criteria, a level of excellence that he demands there at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, brined overnight, hand-cut chicken fingers, Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, and so much more. It's champyschicken.com. And a leaderboard update from the U.S. Open Round 1 at Oakmont, brought to you by our friends at Vulcan Tire and Automotive.
Hey, before you hit the road this summer, whether you're heading to the beach, the lake, wherever that vacation takes you, make sure everything is checked bumper to bumper on your vehicle. Our friends at Vulcan Tire and Automotive, they can handle all of this for you. If you're rolling on old tires, it's time for an upgrade. Take it to Vulcan Tire and Automotive. Make sure you tell them the guys from the Next Round sent you. They will guarantee you the best tire pricing in all of the area. Your car works hard for you. Let them return the favor at Vulcan Tire and Automotive. For more information, vulcantireandauto.com.
All right, JJ Spawn hanging in there. We all got him falling apart at some point. I think me and Lance had him finishing this tournament at 3 over. Dunaway at 4 over, but he's still currently at 4 under with only 2 to play. So it looks like he could potentially get this thing home at 4 under par in round 1. Siwoo Kim and Thomas Dietrich are just behind him. They are both at 2 under par. Bigger group at 1 under par. Adam Scott, Ben Griffin, Gary Woodland, Lanto Griffin, and Thurston Lawrence. I will point out that there are only 8 players that are under par right now. Now, obviously, this is the morning wave. But when the wave first started this morning, we had a bunch of guys under par, and everybody was starting to talk about maybe this course doesn't have the bite everyone said. As the day has played on, it has started to thin out at the under par ranks and the red numbers there.
Yeah, and Shane Lowry's looking maybe at his if he backs today up with tomorrow's round, it'll be early exit from the U.S. Open.
Let's hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah. Why, you got Shane Lowry? Was that one of your recommended plays?
That was one of my recommended plays. I've got a little investment in him, and I would like to see him playing the weekend.
Yeah, he better hope he got in the bunker there and not that rough.
No doubt.
How did McIlroy escape 12?
It was not as bad as you would
13.
think. He's even par right now. Yeah, so I didn't see.
I think he bogeyed it.
I think he doubled it. I think he was 2 under.
I think Jim's right. Yeah, I think it was a double. So, I mean, the way he was chopping that thing around, that maybe isn't as bad as one would think.
Yeah. McIlroy on the 6th right now for him, his 14th hole as he plays at the U.S. Open. That's our Vulcan Tire and Automotive update. A couple of college football notes while you guys still fill out your list there. Matt Rule on the Jim Rome show says he really appreciates that Dylan Raiola stuck around. He could have taken the easy way out and left last year. He had offers to go to programs that could have been easier for him to win a championship. That he appreciates that Dylan Raiola sticks it out at Nebraska.
I don't know who was interested. I'm not saying people would not be, but I don't know the level of team that was interested in Dylan Raiola.
Right. I would imagine any
Stick it out. He's been there 1 year. His dad is a legacy, and he's getting paid millions of dollars.
But, I mean, I still think he's a bit of a project, don't you? And that's sometimes the guy you get in the transfer portal. Do you not think of him that way, Joe?
I don't. I like. It's his first year of playing college football. I liked a lot of things about him. I don't know how good the weapons around him were. I think they're getting better. And before you start penciling in Michigan State or another Indiana run,
Illinois,
and maybe Illinois, I think you got to take a look at Nebraska.
Well, here's the thing for Dylan Raiola this year, Lance. He did stay at Nebraska, however you want to characterize it. And he's going to have Dana Holgorsen as his offensive coordinator, which a lot of people say.
Oh, I think that helps.
That's going to be a good marriage for him. So we'll see. I mean, the truth will be on the field for Damon Raiola. If Dylan Raiola, if having Holgorsen as his offensive coordinator makes that big of a difference, you're right. This could be a sleeper in the Big Ten. Maybe not to win it, but to contend for a playoff.
I think they're only going to be underdogs once all year, so they've got the schedule, much like Indiana, to really make some noise. If Matt Rule is going to make an impact in Lincoln, this is the year he needs to do it. Again, if they had Michigan State schedule, if they had, I don't know, pick another schedule in the Big Ten that's really difficult, then it might be a little bit different. But really, their only difficult or a game that people would deem unwinnable right now is at Penn State. They've got home games against Iowa, USC, and Michigan, but there's no Ohio State on this. There's no Oregon on this.
Yeah, it's manageable.
I enjoy Kenny Chesney's music. I'm often on No Shoes Radio. And this past weekend, he's playing the Sphere out in Vegas, and they do some backstage interviews. Backstage going to the concert together, 3 college football coaches, Matt Rule, P.J. Fleck, Dan Mullen.
It's an interesting collection of guys. So they were there together, or they just
they were there at the same time.
Oh, okay. They didn't travel together.
Fleck had come in to be with Dan Mullen at his football camp in Vegas at UNLV.
That tracks, by the way.
And then Matt Rule was a friend of Kenny Chesney. I think Chesney had played in Lincoln and at some tour over the last couple of summers, and Matt Rule and he had become friends.
I was a little surprised that Matt Rule was
with Fleck and Mullen. Fleck and Mullen seemed like they would be a freaking handful.
Yeah, when you told me Fleck and Mullen were together, I'm like, okay, that tracks. And now I see Matt Rule was just also happened to be there.
Okay, let's get to, New Life Art. They bring you a lot of dynastic moments over the years for Alabama football and some great Auburn moments. There's some of the works over the year. Let's see, that's a national championship year, upper left, right, upper right's a national championship year, national championship in the middle, national championship coach, national championship. I don't know about the 82 Ozzie Newsome making the catch against Auburn, if they won one that year or not. But I will tell you a lot of dynastic moments with Daniel A. Moore. Oh, there's 6 of them right there with Nick Saban all in one picture. You can get the latest work of art or some great ones for Father's Day, DanielMooreArt.com, DanielMooreArt.com. Promo code TNR with our friends at New Life Art, DanielMooreArt.com. I asked you to give me 5 franchises that could be a dynasty. And to me, I mean, y'all described can you just go 2 national championships to be a dynasty?
No, it's got to be at least 3 now. You can argue, and we used to do this with the Spurs because it was 5 over 20 years.
Well, that's why I said 3 and 5, 4 and 8, 5 and 10.
To me, it's got to be at least 3, but then the argument becomes, okay, 3 and what time span do you consider a dynasty? And beauty's going to be in the eye of the beholder.
3 and 5 for me.
I don't think you'll see that.
We've never had 3 in a row.
That is true. So 3 and 5 is probably about the best you could ask for.
And 3 and 5 in today's college football, I think is going to be really, really difficult. So I'm going to say none, but for the exercise, I've got you. Not only 5, I've got you 6.
Give me the list. Who do you got?
I've got Ohio State's got to be one. And look, if somebody's going to do 3 and 5, you got to start with your defending national champions. You'll notice this. My top 4 are all teams that are spending $40 million plus on their roster.
That's going to help you.
Ohio State, Notre Dame is finally getting skill, and I think they've got an elite coach in Marcus Freeman that can relate to players. He will continue, along with the money he's got, to bring in great recruits. Texas, I don't think Sark's going to win a championship there. How about that?
Okay.
So I'm still going to put them because they're going to be in the mix with all the money they've got. Oregon, I don't think Dan Lanning's going to win a championship, but I think they're going to be in the mix because of the money. And then Alabama, Georgia, 2 of the best coaches with the best programs, but they're not spending the money these other teams are spending.
Let me ask you this, because if Ryan Day won it, they spent a lot of money.
Yep.
Do you give Ryan Day any credit for that? Like if Marcus Freeman wins it, I mean, it seems like we love Marcus Freeman on this show now, but I feel like if Sark wins it, you're going to talk about the money they spent. And
no, I think Sark
if Marcus Freeman wins it, are you going to talk about the money they spent too?
I mean, look, it's part of it, but I mean, it's much like Andy Reid. Andy Reid, you can't deny, is a great coach, but he's got one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time in Pat Mahomes. So I just think money is part of it. I'll give Sark a lot of credit. I think Sark is a much better coach than he used to be. Sark used to be, to me, a train wreck of a head coach. He's gotten a lot better as he's matured. So I think Sark is a good coach. So, yeah, I'll give him credit, but I do think Texas is going to be in the mix. A lot of this is money-based.
I didn't necessarily rank mine like I think this is the best one. I just gave you 5, okay? So I didn't necessarily rank them in order. If that's what you wanted, I
Brown
apologize.
tuned us up that he doesn't have Ohio State at the top.
I don't have Ohio State in my 5.
Oh my God.
Brown. It might have been an oversight, guys. Settle down.
An oversight.
We're doing this on the fly.
I would say it's an oversight.
Okay, well, Lance had them. I want to talk about somebody else. And let me also say, as a qualifier,
well, this is a dry erase board. You can actually factor in the erase part.
I would
of this.
admit that. I'm going to hand you an eraser now.
No, I'm going to keep what I got. I'm going to keep what I got because I can make a case for all these still. Now, I'd like to have Ohio State on there. Sure. Would I?
I mean,
would I like to have Ohio State in hindsight? Sure, Jim. I would.
This isn't like, hey, chisel something. Chisel into that stone over there. 5
I did 11. I did 11 commandments.
Hey, Ohio State was so obvious, I didn't even put it on my list.
I figured you casuals would have Ohio State on there.
I wrote Ohio State down before I even asked you guys the question.
Yeah, I did too.
I came in, I wrote Ohio State 1. What question can I come up with today that would have Ohio State 1?
So I'm going to give you 5 other than Ohio State, the clearly obvious answer that everybody's going to go with, right? And I am also...
Well, let me rephrase the question for you, Brownie. Other than Ohio State, give me 5 other programs that could be, because Ohio State's a given.
And I also want to say I'm not necessarily saying they're going to do it with their current coach, like Lance said.
Yeah. By the way, Lance also gave you 5 other ones other than Ohio State, too.
That's true. You did.
I did.
That's very well done.
I did.
Texas, Penn State.
Murmur.
The Florida Gators, Alabama, and Notre Dame. You murmured. Now, look, here's the thing. Texas has never done this. I mean, like, I put Alabama on there because Alabama has got 3 separate decades where they won at least 3 national championships in that decade.
Stop copying off my board, Brownie.
Well, you don't think I knew you were going to have Alabama
I'm
on
glad
there?
you did preface the fact that with other coaches, because your top 3 coaches
I'm not
have
saying,
like 2 combined top 10 wins.
There's no doubt, Lance. I'm not saying that it's going to happen with Sark, Franklin, or Billy Napier, but and Texas has never done this. I mean, Texas, we talk so much about them for as little nationally as they've accomplished, right? But at some point, somebody gets in there and does it, I think. Penn State is another one that in the world of NIL, it's going to help them recruiting a little bit. Florida is there's just too much talent there. They've got too many resources. Alabama and Notre Dame, I think, speak for themselves.
The definitive list right here.
Okay.
Ohio State, Texas, Georgia. I mean, the recruiting and the money should be so good there.
Yeah.
USC. Now, I watch a lot of 1970s and 80s old football games, so maybe I'm lost in great broadcast from Los Angeles. And then Alabama, 60s, 70s, the 2000s.
Well,
a couple of different times in the 2000s.
Yep. I would. I wanted to go USC as well. You know, my big question about them is I just don't know this Big Ten fit for them.
Eventually, it'll make it easier.
Okay.
They will at some point outclass a lot of the Big Ten schools with their athletes.
I think the problem right now for USC is you've got a lot of different decision makers getting in each other's ways, and now the bigger problem has become Lincoln Riley. You've got some backing and some against, and when you've got a polarizing coach right now, it's difficult to recruit. Now they're doing it right now. But when they take on a couple of more losses, the narrative is going to be we need to get rid of this guy and get a new guy in.
I did not think this is how the Lincoln Riley era would look.
I didn't either.
I mean, I'm not saying I thought he was going to win a national championship, but when he left to go there, I thought he can do there what he did at Oklahoma, which was be a perennial playoff contender, be in the semifinals.
Oh, in retrospect, he wishes he would have stayed.
I think I have to agree with you. He had it cooking at Oklahoma. I mean, if truly he did it to avoid the SEC,
he didn't.
I don't think he did either. A lot of people say that, but I don't think that's the case.
Just for exercise, Brown.
Okay.
Pull up, and you can do this faster than me, I hope. On 24/7 or on 3 Sports, pull up by state the top recruits in the state of California for last year's signing class, the 2025 signing class.
I would say in the state of California, and I'm just guessing that Oregon probably leads the state of California in top recruits.
I think you'll be amazed in 2025, and I know this was the case dating back to the late teens.
Okay, what you want? I got it.
Just start reading where the top recruits, the school they went to.
The top recruit from the state of California last year went to Alabama.
Thank you. What's next?
Southern Cal.
So they're 1-1, keeping them in state.
Number 3, the University of Miami.
Okay, so 2 of the 3, one stayed in state, one went to Alabama, one went even further away to Miami.
Number 4 went to Alabama.
Okay.
Number 5 went to Alabama.
Okay.
I mean, I'll call a timeout right there. You're in the top 5. Alabama got 3 of the top 5 from on 3 players in California. That's crazy.
When I was hyping Kalen DeBoer up, what was everybody saying?
He couldn't recruit the South.
Yeah. Well, maybe you don't need to.
Some of that is Southern California.
By the way, Nick Saban got a lot of recruits from the state of California.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kiffin and Sark recruited like crazy out there.
If you play the college football EA Sports game, there's a thing called a pipeline.
You think Kiffin and Sark like traveling out there?
Oh, they didn't hate it. What is pipeline?
It's where not only you recruit your state, your region, but there's always a pipeline. If you've pulled recruits from there, you build a pipeline of getting recruits from a certain area.
It's easier to sign those guys.
Yeah. Like in
that's interesting.
The most recent game, you can have a pipeline in the Atlanta metro area, South Florida, Southern California.
Number 6 from California, Notre Dame.
So of the top 6,
haven't got an Oregon yet.
Top 6, we've had one stay in California.
Yep. By the way, only 2 5-stars out of the entire state of California. I think you probably had more back in the day.
That's down.
It feels like it.
You can't. You drive by more 5-stars than you do Waffle Houses in the state of Georgia.
Let me guess. Those 5-stars are Alabama guys because they went from 4s to 5s.
Oh,
by the way, that's a great
one. Was
I never get the clips cut out by Taylor. They're always your great lines. But
whatever.
You drive by more 5-stars than you do Waffle Houses in the state of Georgia is a good line.
Okay.
Type that one up, Connor O'Gara. Saturdays down south.
Number 7, Texas A&M. Number 8, Southern Cal. Number 9, Texas A&M. Number 10, Texas A&M.
Yeah,
so
my point was they're not staying at home.
Well, Texas A&M got 3 of the top 10. Alabama got 3 of the top 10, and Southern Cal got 2 of the top 10.
Yeah.
So you got out recruited in your own state by Alabama and Texas A&M, which is pretty crazy.
So what changes? What for USC? What can make that change?
More money.
Got to spend more money, right?
Well, I think Chad Bowden. You've got a general manager in there that came from Notre Dame. that is focused 100% on getting this thing right, and they're already making a splash. I mean, you look at 2026. Do you have 2026?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, watch this.
I would say
Well, this
also
is just going to be committed, though.
I know. Yeah, absolutely.
I would say another part of this is the TV exposure that the SEC has gotten over the years. And these kids, when Alabama and the SEC was dominating, these kids were at the formative ages of when they were watching college football as 11, 12, 13, 14-year-olds. USC wasn't at the forefront of college football. Go ahead.
Now, this looks like maybe a better crop in California this year because there are 6 5-stars currently, according to On3 Sports. The number 1 player in California is down to Texas A&M. Whoever's recruiting California for A&M is killing it. Texas A&M and Southern Cal, but according to On3, he's 82% A&M, 5% Southern Cal. So they've got him heavy lean A&M.
So nothing's changed yet. Next.
Yep. Your number 2 is, and I remember seeing this story. It's the tight end Mark Bowman, and I think he was down to Georgia and Southern Cal, and he took Southern Cal.
That's right.
Georgia, I think Georgia thought they had
Brock
him.
Bowers guy.
Yeah.
He verbally committed to Georgia at one point, I believe.
Okay, but Southern Cal got 2.
That's number 2.
And 1, they're still in the mix.
Number 3 is quarterback Ryder Lyons. What a good name. From Folsom. He's got those Folsom prison blues, Jimmy D. He hears that train coming, doesn't he?
Coming down
that track.
One of our friends hears that train coming too, doesn't
he? Shot a man in Reno. Ryder Lyons, the quarterback, 68% to Oregon, 30% to Southern Cal. So there's Oregon showing up for you, Lance.
Southern Cal's still on.
Yep.
Everybody's radar.
They're on the radar, the top 3. The number 4 player, Ohio State commit. The number 5 player, 93% Oregon, 4% Southern Cal. The number 6 player, a Washington commit, a offensive tackle. The number 7 player, 94% Oregon, 2% Southern Cal. The number 8 player, an LSU commit, and both 9 and 10 are Southern Cal commits. So they have done much better this year for sure.
Yeah.
And Courtney Morgan, jump around, Jim Nagy now. You have got to have a general manager on staff that can 100% devote all of his time to assembling these rosters. You have to have it.
Our friends at Hemp Hill, and we're going to give you a big court ruling that has come down today that impacts not just college basketball, but I think all college athletes that are starting to seek this. Hemp Hill, hot or cold, flowing or not flowing, they'll keep you in line.
205-229-2090. Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Tell them the next round sent you. Hard to stop a train. Whether you experience plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Make sure that HVAC unit ready to keep up with this changing weather. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
Okay, so Ross Dellinger and others reporting a Tennessee court has denied a preliminary injunction in the eligibility case brought by Tennessee basketball player Zakai Zeigler, who was seeking a 5th year of eligibility. This was supposed to be the case that maybe flipped around of all athletes getting 5 years. Eventually, I think we're going to get there. I think we're going to miss Zakai Zeigler. Ziegler's going to miss this window.
For Zeigler, this is $1 million decision because it's either this or Ziegler's going overseas, and Ziegler's going to go overseas and make a few $100,000, or he comes back to Tennessee and makes millions in NIL.
And this is not something where Zeigler played like JUCO, and he's trying to. All he is saying is that they are unfairly restricting my right to now earn NIL money. Essentially, that's probably not the exact legal argument, but that's basically a summary.
If I could play one more year, I can make more money. You're preventing me from making money
because you have an arbitrary rule that says I can only play 4 years in a 5-year window. And that rule seems arbitrary. Why do we have that rule?
Now, the other side of the argument is, well, you're no longer a student. Now, I know you get guys that graduate in 3 years.
That's right. And he could say, I'll enter graduate school. Yeah. I
wonder if it becomes a situation where as long as you are enrolled, then you have eligibility, and it becomes where you're not a full-time student anymore. And you got guys that are taking 3 hours, and they stretch those 3 hours over a decade.
It'll be interesting to see how it gets ruled, but I do believe sooner rather than later they will come. You just play. You got 5 years to play. No more red shirts. No more.
But you get all 5 years. I can play 5 full.
You play 5 every game for 5 years if you want to. No more red shirting. You don't have to worry about it. I played in 4 games. Can't play him in a 5th game. There was a kid basketball player for West Virginia who played in 5 games. I believe it was at Arkansas. And then he transferred somewhere and transferred to West Virginia. He won his case yesterday where he gets another year of eligibility. He just has to miss the first 5 games of the year to make up for the 5 he played at Arkansas.
Do you think what might be slowing that down? The schools probably aren't pushing it as much because of the cost of having a bigger roster?
The rev sharing, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got a 5-year window, it's a bigger roster. Unless they put in, NCAA puts in smaller roster limits, or if the roster limit still stays there, and then you can only sign X amount of players.
Well, you're having to grandfather so many people in right now, so maybe when it settles, I think eventually you'll get 5 years to play 5 years, 5 to play 5, and Zakai Zeigler wouldn't have to have this kind of court case. So that ruling came down during the show today. When we come back, trash is part of it, another U.S. Open update, and a lot more as we continue on today. The show being brought to you by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. Get down there and enjoy a great lunch. Perfect tailgating coming up in 72 days, week 0. Take that to your high school football games as well. Looking forward to this high school football season coming up, and whether you're at places like Thompson or Vestavia, down in Montgomery, up in Huntsville, Champy's Chicken is great to hit the road with your local high school teams. And Sterling is ready to serve it up for you this weekend. In fact, right now at lunch, brined overnight cooked to order fried chicken is champy'schicken.com.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Since you listened to my last message so well and got rid of those cargo shorts and stained t-shirts, it's time to replace them with Rhoback. Go to Rhoback.com and click on the refreshed collection to find all that you need for an EG-approved wardrobe. It includes pieces that will have you ready to hit the golf course after a busy day of meetings, or comfy favorites for travel and working from home. Get 20% off using code TNR20. See, I'm saving you some money.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new Chicken and Bowberry Waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a Bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try Chicken and Bowberry Waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
If you're looking to expand business and inform the Next Round audience about your exciting brand, contact us. Send an email to sales@nextroundlive.com to be a part of the team and advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential customers on our ever-expanding platform. Join our existing partners in the fastest growing media space, both live and on demand, and reach the most desirable audience for your business. Get information and more by emailing sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to take your business to the next level with the Next Round.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on The Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at The Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
The World Wide Web is a large place. Find all your favorite people and content in the same spot. NextRoundLive.com is full of wonderful tidbits about the show you know and love. Find our gear, listen to your favorite personalities, follow our socials, and enjoy your trip to NextRoundLive.com.
New Life Art is proud to announce Daniel A. Moore's upcoming Alabama basketball painting, Buzzer Beater. Closing out the regular season, Alabama and Auburn faced off in a top 10 matchup. With less than 1 second remaining in overtime and the game tied at 91, Mark Sears launched a 15-foot floater that sealed the Tide's victory. Visit DanielMooreArt.com and see the artist's preliminary sketch of this historic Bama win. And take advantage of special pre-production pricing for Buzzer Beater.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that quality legal services being performed is greater than
Tied or all under par, 8 of them. We'll do a leaderboard update that's brought to you by our friends at Vulcan Tire and Automotive.
Yeah, if you're hitting the road this summer, make sure your car is properly serviced, bumper to bumper. Our friends at Vulcan Tire and Automotive, great locations throughout Birmingham for you, from the AC to the oil changes to new tires. Make sure you stop in, see all the fine folks there. Make sure you tell them the next round sent you.
All right, you've still got J.J. Spawn. He's playing his 18th hole, which is the 9th there. He teed off on the back this morning. So he's playing his 18th hole, and he's still got a 2-shot lead right now at 4 under par. He's had the round of the day all day. Siwoo Kim at 2 under. Thomas Dietrich also at 2 under. Ben Griffin at 1 under and Tristan Lawrence at 1 under, just as Jim had mentioned.
A top 6 right there, tied for 6, that leaderboard.
Yeah.
Looks like USC trying to recruit and keep them in California. The Americans trying to keep the U.S. Open in America, and there's not a lot of flags there.
No, you know, going back, was it the PGA Championship a couple of weeks ago?
Right.
The leaderboard on Saturday was awful.
Yeah, it really was. And it ended up, the tournament ended up being better than you would have thought.
But I mean, right, like if this is Sunday.
J.J. Spawn, Siwoo Kim, Thomas Dietrich, and Ben Griffin.
Yeah, we got an extended brunch on Father's Day. I really don't care anything about this.
I'm trying to find, let's see if there are any big names that have just, DeChambeau +3. He has not had a good round.
Shoffley
is +4.
Fleetwood's 4.
Justin Rose +4. So you got Phil Mickelson +4. You got some big numbers out there from some of the bigger names.
Now, I don't play in these pools that you guys play in. All week long, I kept hearing you guys debate Shoffley, talk about Lowry, talk about DeChambeau.
Yep.
All underwhelming so far.
Oh, well, yeah. DeChambeau's +3, Lowry's +6, Shoffley's +4.
But like Oberg, who's on this putt right here, he missed it. I was about to say, I've seen, because this screen is right in front of me, the live coverage USA Network, I've seen 5 or 6 missed under 4 feet putt. That's got to be a mental thing, right?
I mean,
just because those greens are so slick.
Speed and break.
Speed and break, and then, it's just these are such tough conditions. It just starts to stack up on you, and you lose focus for just a second, and that kind of stuff can happen to you.
I'll tell you what, I used to be really, really horrible at really close putts. What some people are giving me, but we play strict inside the leather. And I learned that if I putt it more firm, that it goes in there.
You take the break out of it? Yeah. Well, you can't miss the hole, though.
But the problem is you can't push it or pull it, because at that point you're going to miss it. Now, when you're talking about the speed of these things, by the way, they're running at a 15 today on the stimp meter.
Yeah.
15. The average golf that Brown and I play are somewhere between 8 and 11. PGA Tour is usually 12, 13. 15 at this thing. It's almost like putting on this right here.
Yeah, that was 15 this morning probably, by the way. By this afternoon, they'll be
higher.
Yeah.
They don't go out there and judge them throughout the day and throw a little water on it?
No. Well, if they think they're losing the green, they'll put water on it, but you won't see that here. This place is not baked out. So they probably won't do that during a round. And I don't know. It doesn't look particularly warm up there. I don't know what the temperature is up there today, but nobody's like drenched in sweat. So
it looks like a high of 81 today.
Okay.
Is Shoffley, is he tall enough to ride the rides at like Disney?
That's some people were talking in the chat room.
His club's longer than he is.
Somebody said something in the chat room like, I saw JJ Spawn. I don't know who it was. I saw JJ Spawn at Augusta, and he's much smaller than he looks on TV. Golfers are generally pretty small. McIlroy's a little dude.
I know that, but I mean, Shoffley is really, really small. Could be a jockey if he wasn't a golfer.
Yeah, it's not a tall man's sport. The tall man doesn't do very well in golf. You don't get the just don't get the angles you need.
Speaking of the tall man, where's Dustin Johnson? Is he even in this?
DJ's game has fallen way off.
Oh, I know
oddly, when DJ took a ton of money to go play live golf.
That's when he tapped out.
It looks like that's what DJ was like. I got me a hot wife back at the house.
I'm a half-inch taller than Shoffley. 5'10".
Oh, wow.
There is no way he's 5'10".
That's media guide height for Shoffley.
Yeah.
I bet you he's shorter than that.
5'10".
Go find the PGA Tour Combine, Dunaway. See what he measured there.
It does say
if they had a
awesome.
PGA Tour Combine.
It does say he has to use small grips because of his hand size.
I believe it. It was like a softball in his hand when he picks it up out of the cup.
Yeah, that's Vulcan Tire and Automotive PGA Tour update. By the way, how's the 289-yard par 3 playing today? I have not seen that one.
What hole is it?
It's number 8, I think. I haven't seen it popped up on the screen all day long.
Yeah, if you'll give me a second, I'll see if I can find any stats.
I'll say I'll just look at JJ Spawn, how he did on 8. He parred it.
Well, there you go.
I would tell you another thing about this course at Oakmont is the rough, obviously, the sand traps, the fast greens. There's also 1.1 miles of drainage ditches. They make them look better than it sounds.
Yeah, that does sound bad.
1.1 mile of drainage ditches that you can either take a one-stroke drop out of or try to play it out of. And that can be hazardous as you try to do that throughout the day as well.
I'll tell you this. So Spawn is on 18 right now, and he is yet to bogey a hole. That's pretty amazing.
No, that's spectacular is what it is.
He's got 4 pars and is yet to bogey.
If he does that for 3 more days, we'll call him a champion.
I'd take it as, gosh, he's got a decent look at birdie to get in at 5 under. I will say this to highlight what Lance is saying. Like right there earlier, I was watching and Justin Rose was playing his 15th hole, Dunaway.
Not hard enough.
Look at the break on that putt, though. I was about to say you overread it, but that thing's coming inside door if he hits it.
Awful.
That thing's coming inside door if he hits it.
So he is going to go in at 4 under, which is pretty amazing.
No, I was watching Justin Rose earlier, Dunaway. He's hit 10 of 14 greens, and he was 4 over.
Wow.
And I'm like, I mean, that is a U.S. Open stat right there. 10 of 14 greens, and you're 4 over.
Is he the snake?
Who? Oh, yeah.
Justin Rose.
Yeah, I bet you he's had some 3 putts.
All right, that gets us to trash coming up right now. Trash is brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Hit it, Tyler.
Tell me about the whistles. The whistles got woo. When you want to woo woo, it's that woo woo. You know what I'm saying?
LT's Trash is presented by Bud Light.
Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. If you're heading to the lake or beach, pick some up this weekend. I said I couldn't pick J.J. Spawn, and by the way, he did sink the par putt, so he goes into the clubhouse at 4 under. Said I couldn't pick him out of the lineup. If you cast somebody to play J.J. Spawn, Jeffrey Wright, the actor, 1,000%.
Oh, what have I seen him in? You're right.
American Fiction, Westworld. He was in season 2 of The Last of Us.
I saw him in something else.
Very, very good actor. Was in Syriana.
In The Hunger Games Catching Fire. I don't know if you've gone through that
Yeah,
sort of
not
young
seen
adult
that. I've seen him in
franchise
something, though.
He's a very good actor.
Y'all haven't named it yet.
So a bison gored a man on Tuesday after a large group of visitors got too close to the animal in Yellowstone National Park, according to officials. We'll say this. I went to Yellowstone a few years ago, and we did the horseback ride. Mistake. But one of the cool things is we got out there among the bison. There were 2 massive bison a few hundred yards away, and we had 3 different guides, and one of them, and there was these 3 girls, and they were awesome. But one of them was like, I would much rather come across a grizzly than a bison.
Wow, did not know that.
I still would go bison, I think, but the 30-year-old from Randolph, New Jersey.
Right now, when Montana and North Dakota State play each other this year, who are you taking, the Grizzlies or the Bison?
I'll go bison.
Yeah, I'd go bison to win that, but I would rather take my chance in with the
Well,
Bison.
I tell you what, I just don't want either. I'm going to pass on
I would
it
agree.
if you don't
Now,
mind.
This 30-year-old was treated for minor injuries after being gored around 9:45 a.m. at the Old Faithful area, according
To me,
to the
that
report
answers
statement.
the question right there. You know what? You're not getting treated for when you run into a grizzly. Minor injuries.
Well, that's the more I go through this story, that's why the grizzly to me much more intimidating. Park
Because
officials,
You know what park officials will be doing right now?
Yeah,
Searching for parts of your body.
right, and looking to find the bear to exterminate the bear. Now, this is the second person gored by a bison already this spring in Yellowstone. 47-year-old Cape Coral man. Minor injuries when he was gored on May 7th. Bison gored.
The modern day answer to this would be trim their horns.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, I'll let you do that.
Bison gored at least 2 people in Yellowstone last year, including an 83-year-old South Carolina woman who was seriously injured. 83-year-old woman gored, still survived. Bison also gored an Arizona woman in the park in 2023. Bison have injured more people in Yellowstone than any other wild animal. They can run up to 35 miles an hour.
Boy, that thing can run 35 miles an hour.
6 feet tall, weigh 2,000 pounds.
You think it sounds like an earthquake when
North
you're there?
America's biggest land animal. They just were grazing when we were out there. We did keep our distance, but pretty amazing to see an animal like that in the wild.
I would imagine so. In the wild being key word there, and I think sometimes we forget we have encroached on the wild and we're not wild. And I think sometimes we forget that as humans.
The combination of idiocy and social media with wild animals has been a formula for disaster.
Yeah.
Trying to get the good picture up next to a bison.
Since 1971, in Yellowstone, bison have killed 2 people. Grizzlies have killed 8.
Okay, so the Bears are up 8-2.
In modern day warfare in Yellowstone, Grizzlies are up 8-2.
And I could be wrong. I didn't see any grizzly. We did have bear spray, but I saw bison. So I would say there's more bison. I could be
Do you
completely
think the
wrong.
bear spray works with bison?
I think the bear spray works with anybody.
It's just about anything.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, more people are injured per year in Yellowstone by the bison than they are the grizzlies.
But would you give me this, that everybody that sees a grizzly, that's bad. Some people probably don't realize that the bison is dangerous.
Bisons have injured, on average, about 5 people per year in Yellowstone. Usually 1 bear-caused injury per year. What do you think the caused injury is?
The bear-caused injury?
Yep.
Crushing. I think they got crushed.
No, it actually
Mauling?
never actually gets in contact with the bear. Bear likely
the
never
bear
sees
spray?
them. Nope, it's the running away.
You turn your leg. or
Running
something.
away, you break broken leg.
Yeah.
Well, you break that leg and you're just laying there waiting to see if it comes to get you or
God,
not.
can you imagine that? I like the fact that we've allowed North Dakota State fans to completely change the way we say the name of this animal.
Yeah, bison.
Bison. I mean, like, they are the only people I've ever heard say that, but we just assume they got it right.
I don't know if I ever told this story on the air, but when I first got the bear spray, I went out and, wanted to see the stream of the bear spray. Just
you want to know what
you have to use it.
That's recommended.
So went out there, and I can't make this up. I spray it, and we get a shift of wind almost immediately.
Oh, no. Yeah. You didn't spray it into an oncoming wind, but it picked up.
And it circles back, and I run in, and I got just a slight hint of it. But
is it pepper base or like a stink?
Did it just burn your eyes?
Think it's, you could just feel the heat, the burn of it.
Oof.
Yeah.
If you've ever seen the movie Wind River, great movie. Taylor Sheridan wrote and directed, but Jeremy Renner. And when Ashley Olsen's character, or Elizabeth Olsen's character, comes to this trailer to serve a warrant, these 2 meth heads, one of them pulls out a can of bear spray and douses them. Can't even imagine.
No, I can't either.
While we're talking about the bison of North Dakota State, if I said a team with Dakota in their name or any other FCS team for the national championship in college football.
Oh, I would go Dakota.
You'd take the Dakota?
Yeah.
Would you go somewhere else?
I think I'd Dakotas versus the world, yeah.
Okay, last 4 FCS champions, North Dakota State, South Dakota State, South Dakota State, North Dakota State. You got to go back 2020, Sam Houston. They have beaten in the finals, though, Montana State, Montana, North Dakota State, Montana State during that time.
I still don't know how they do it. There's no population. I don't think do they even have a Buc-ee's in South or North Dakota?
Probably no.
To me, that's why.
Is that a sign of civilization now?
A little bit, yeah.
That's why the new Pac-12 should go. They got to find one more football playing league. They need to go get bring all the Dakotas, North Dakota, North Dakota State, South Dakota State.
They got all those other states in there.
Yeah, go ahead and bring Montana State in and make that part of the Pac-12.
21-year-old Saudi Arabian man called 911 early yesterday morning to complain that he paid $300 for a private room at a strip club and, quote, requested sex from a staff member, but was denied said acts. This is like the guy that called about the gun situation yesterday that was already on probation.
Yeah, he was trading guns with somebody, and he wasn't supposed to have a gun, but he reported the trade went bad. Yeah.
Investigators say that Sultan Al-Nofani called police around 1 a.m. on Sunday with his tale of woe. Interesting right here. Regarding his evening at the Oz Gentlemen's Club in Clearwater, Florida. Now, Anolfe told police operator that the club security took $300 from him. He was still on the line when the cops made contact with the patron. He then told the deputies that he, quote, paid an employee at the location $300. However, he did not receive the services, which prompted him to dial 911. Now, he was arrested, intoxicated, smelled of booze, slurring his words, was released for custody last night after posting a $300 or $500 cash bail. He had just turned 21 last week, by the way. It says, again, whoever wrote this, very creative, before visiting the, quote, magical land of Oz.
Yeah.
He's a sultan, though.
He is a sultan.
Seems like he could have paid a little bit more than $300.
Boy, I hope we got video of this next one. It's a story that sounds straight out of Heavy Metal Fever Dream. A Tampa-based musician known as Prince Midnight turned the skeleton of his deceased uncle into a fully functional guitar.
So, Tyler, this is legitimately the skeleton.
Yes. So the picture on the left is the skeleton used to create the Skelecaster, he calls it. And then the picture on the right is
the deceased uncle?
The owner of the skeleton. That's Uncle Philip, or Uncle Flip.
The former owner of the skeleton, yes.
See, the skeleton looks like Xander Schauffele's ribs there, right? It's a little fella. Now, the unusual tribute, a guitar now named the Skelecaster, went viral after multiple news outlets picked it up in February of 2021. Story originally reported by outlets like CBS, HuffPost, Guitar World, quickly spread across the internet, was translated into several languages. Now, Prince Midnight, who introduced his creation on Instagram, said the idea came from a deep desire to honor Uncle Philip, who tragically died in a motorcycle accident in Greece in 1996 at just 28. Uncle Philip probably would have been a fascinating guy if he would have made it another 20 or 30 years.
Probably so. Now, I do have a question from this story. I don't know if you'll cover it, so if I could circle back, please, if you don't.
I know what you're about to.
Okay.
You never let me finish these because
I know.
I'm going to answer.
You noticed I did that this time, yes.
Philip's skeleton had been donated to a medical school where it was used in anatomy classes for years, but when the school no longer needed the remains and Philip's parents had passed, the responsibility of his bones fell to Midnight's mother. In keeping with their Greek Orthodox beliefs, cremation was not an option. The family was left with two choices: continue paying for storage or purchase a burial plot. That's when Midnight stepped in and said, I'll take care of it, and decided to turn Uncle Philip into a guitar.
That's not what we had in mind.
Charles says, how do you ask your cousin, hey, can I make a guitar out of your dad?
Yeah. No, I mean, I think I should be allowed to donate my body to music in this case if I wanted to.
Well, the mom told HuffPost she thought it was sacrilegious and the work of the devil. But then when Philip was asked would he rather be in the ground or shredding, he said he probably would rather me have him on the guitar shredding.
Yep.
I mean, if you built this guitar out of like a fake skeleton, it's actually pretty cool. The fact it's a real skeleton is super odd.
Bothers
to me.
you?
Yeah, it's just really weird.
We talk all the time.
It doesn't look
though.
very functional.
Your soul's not there anymore, so who cares?
No, I get it. But I'm holding my uncle's.
I mean, just think, my head's rather large. It could be a good little snare drum, and
it could be.
You could take a couple of parts of my arms and make them drumsticks, Brownie. Y'all could start a whole musical thing going up here.
Who's playing the Dunaway tonight?
Yeah, I really don't care where I am after this, but I don't want to be the full skeleton in like the corner of a biology class.
I'm also with you on that. Yeah, I would not want to be that.
Have the class give you like a dumb name, Mr. Bones or something.
Yeah.
And you're there all summer just in a creepy classroom, nobody around.
We dissected cats in biology when I was...
That's a big animal for
a big
high
animal.
school.
Yeah, and the
money at Saks.
Oddly, that's true. County dollars, man. Those things.
Y'all got cats?
Yeah. We did frogs and cats.
Oh, I bet your PE coach,
wow.
instead of mowing grass for the summer, he was paid to go round up a bunch of feral
alley
cats.
cats.
Yeah, around the bad Mexican restaurants in the alleys.
We did frogs and we did something else, but it wasn't cats.
Oh, we did frogs.
Had, pig fetuses.
That may have been what we did.
We did frogs, and I remember Miss Burpo's class, I tried to flush it down a toilet, and it got clogged up.
What'd you have, Forrester?
Yep, fetal pigs, baby pigs.
Baby pigs. So, no, we dissected cats. And
We did cow hearts, too.
Oddly enough,
yeah, we did that too.
Robin Wilson, my biology teacher, was a massive cat person, which I always thought weird that she let us dissect the cats, but she was a huge cat person.
Yeah, I've never heard of dissecting cats.
Yeah. And I'll never forget it, though, because she got super wound up because...
That shows you were dog country, right?
I guess so.
You couldn't get away with that.
Super wound up because one of the football players couldn't get to the part he was supposed to dissect, so he just grabbed the cat. It's going to make me cringe to tell the story because I almost threw up at the time. Took the cat and just spread the legs out and popped the hip bones, like broke it.
Damn, bone tomahawk, man.
And she went crazy. You will not mutilate these cats. I mean, she went nuts on it. But the sound in the class, he did it so quick, too. He just grabbed the legs and he popped that bone.
Was he the guy Friday nights at 10:30 was meeting the guy from Anniston High or Oxford fighting in the parking lot?
Fighting at Saks Jr. That's where we did our fights with Saks Jr.
There was a guy in my class who tried to take one of the pig hearts home with him.
No, he did not.
He tried. The teacher.
What was he going to do with it?
So where's he now? Death row?
Yeah, I mean, we needed to keep an eye on that.
I don't
That'll
keep
get
up with a lot of people from high school.
In fact, America has the most serial killers in the world.
Okay. So we lead in that?
We do lead in that. Borough in Dauphin County is launching a new initiative aimed at keeping up with potholes and road hazards. We were talking about, like, the strip we've got now where we get off 280 and we come down to the Blue Lake building is so smooth and so easy.
It didn't used to be.
You get on these pothole roads, awful. Like last week, Nashville is terrible when it comes to the potholes. Maddie hit one, cracked the wheel well, thousands of dollars of damage. Just last week.
Oh, I hit a pothole in Nashville not long ago, and in the city limits, like downtown, not on the interstate.
They're everywhere.
Yeah.
Now, Millersburg has launched an electronic reporting form where residents can easily submit a hazard or a pothole on Facebook. Borough said the annual budget only allows for limited paving projects, but it wants to do a better job of keeping up with the potholes. Now, the borough said it has a goal to resolve the complaints within 48 hours, but the time frame may be a little longer depending on the volume of requests, especially as things get underway. Quote, some potholes may require a little more TLC, but rest assured you'll be provided with a reason if we're unable to fill it ourselves.
Well, I mean, if they can't fill it themselves, what's the other option?
I don't know.
If the road crew can't fill it, I mean, I can't be expected to. What are we going to do?
Would you wear that T-shirt?
I would not, Lance. No, I'm going to pass on that.
That is Trash Today, brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. And the show today brought to you by Urology Centers of Alabama. Our friends at UCA, helping you stay on top of your health, guys, as you age from your 20s to your 30s, 30s to 40s, and so on. Early detection so important on so many things. That's why Urology Centers of Alabama has 16 locations, 35 urologists full-time standing by to help you out. 205-930-0920 or urologycentersalabama.com to get more details. Prostate health, kidney stones, vasectomies, everything in between. You can get it all taken care of right there with the great professionals at Urology Centers of Alabama, 205-930-0920, urologycentersalabama.com. Somebody's making a move at the U.S. Open. Before we see who that is, a couple of things on my sheet that I didn't get to. Zach Arnett, one-time Mississippi State defensive coordinator and head coach, is now a defensive analyst at Florida State. He gets a shot at Alabama in Game 1.
Yeah, hard to believe that you went from being a head coach in the SEC and a respected defensive coordinator before that, and he can't find an on-the-field job.
It could be I think Zach Arnett is a really, I love the hire respected. When Leach went West Coast and brought him in. It might be a situation where he got paid X amount to go away, and maybe he just hasn't wanted to get another job to offset that.
Yeah, maybe, and there may be offset language in his contract, and he's bypassing that. Supposedly there are ways that the school can come back after you if you do that, but I don't know.
NBA draft next week. We know people like Phylon and Pettiford came back to Alabama and Auburn, respectively. First-round SEC players, according to Gary Parrish. And the 1, 2, 3, top 4 picks have something in common. They were not on great teams. Trey Johnson is third overall pick. Jeremiah Fears, 6th overall pick from Oklahoma, Texas and Oklahoma. Colin Murray Boyle is the 12th overall pick, according to Gary Parrish.
I think he's going to be really good out of South Carolina. Asa Newell, 18th overall pick out of Georgia. And the only other SEC player that'll make the first round is a national champion in Walter Clayton Jr., who's not expected to go until 29th.
Wow. Do you have his whole draft projection over there, or did you just write that down?
I just wrote that down.
I think
Gary Parrish, CBSSports.com, if you'd like to check it out.
I will go check it out, Jim. I just didn't know if you had it in front of you.
I got to memorize that. What are you going to ask?
Well, because the 2 Rutgers guys in some mock drafts are both going in the top 5.
Harper and Bailey.
A lot of them are going 2 and 3 right after Cooper
right.
flagged. I think Parrish has them 2 and 4, maybe 2 and 5.
And that is just remarkable to me when all you got to be is one of 68 teams. And you've got 2 top 5 draft picks that can't make an NCAA tournament. That is amazing.
They will be the first ever team with 2 first-round draft picks not to make the NCAA tournament, I think.
And you're in a power conference. I mean, it's not like you're, some random team out there. I mean, if you finish middle of the pack in the Big Ten, you're going to go to the NCAA tournament.
One more Vulcan Tire and Automotive update. Brownie, what's happening there with Si-Woo?
Si-Woo Kim has birdied 2 straight, Jim. He was the one you mentioned on the move. He's got a couple holes left. He's 1 shot behind J.J. Spahn, who got in with a bogey-free 66. Fantastic round out of him. That's your leaders on the course, or Spawn's in the clubhouse. Also on the course, Si-Woo Kim, I mentioned 3 under. Ben Griffin and Thomas Dietrich at 2 under. Lawrence just joined them at 2 under. And then Robert McIntyre, the lefty from Scotland, at 1 under. That's all your guys under par right now. Everybody else is even par or over par at Oakmont.
Does the leader Spawn carry any weight in his face?
He does. I'm trying to remember. Lance has nailed the actor, and I'm trying to remember the movie I saw that actor in, because as soon as you said
that's Jeffrey Wright.
It is Jeffrey Wright, and I cannot remember what I saw him in.
More when he looks straight on.
Yeah,
but no, because of the cheeks, I think.
Yeah. Is Jeffrey Wright English? He's an English actor, isn't he?
No, I think he's American.
Oh, is he?
I think so.
Oh, okay. Maybe he was playing an English
if you haven't seen American Fiction, it is so good.
Yeah.
Spawn, a winner of the Cognizant.
Pardon?
Cognizant. I can't say the word classic earlier this year.
The Cognizant.
Cognizant. There you go. That's the word I was looking for.
Be careful.
If it were pronounced the way you were, they would change their company name.
He is from D.C.
Jeffrey Wright is?
He went to Amherst.
Yeah.
He played Felix in Casino Royale. Have you ever seen Casino Royale?
Well, he's in a couple of the Bonds.
I'll figure it out. There's something I've seen this old cat in, but I can't remember. I can't figure out what it was.
College World Series starts tomorrow. A doubleheader with the Coastal team that came through Auburn and Arizona, who is the only Big 12 representative. And then tomorrow night you get the Beavers of Oregon State taking on Louisville, and then the SEC matchup happens on Saturday in prime time with Arkansas and LSU. Don't forget a meltdown today at 2. The Pennant Grace today at 12:15. The Braves win last night to win the series. They hadn't won a series in a while. Beat the Brewers 6-2. They're off today, and then they take a breath. They get the Rockies this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Speaking of that National League West, we go into the weekend with the Dodgers in the lead with a 41-28 record, a half game behind them, the San Francisco Giants. San Diego is third, 9 games above 500. Pretty good little baseball in the National League West, despite the Rockies.
They're the outlier for sure.
Who play the Braves this weekend. All right, that is the show. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.